Imagine yourself in a quiet room, the lights dim, the air still. Somewhere within that stillness, beneath the rhythm of your breath and the soft thud of your heartbeat, countless tiny events are taking place. Cells are dividing, enzymes are carrying out delicate reactions, and invisible currents of electricity are moving through your nerves. It all unfolds without fanfare, without conscious command. This is the human body, an intricate world of structure and rhythm that never sleeps, always maintaining balance, always working to sustain the fragile miracle of life. From the moment you take your first breath, this body begins its lifelong conversation with the world. Every heartbeat, every blink, every exhale is part of an endless dialogue between the inner and outer environments. You are, in essence, a moving ecosystem. Each cell, each molecule, each organ contributes to a larger story of cooperation and adaptation. As you rest now, you may not feel these processes, but they continue with quiet precision, an orchestra of functions tuned to the symphony of existence. The human body is composed of more than 30 trillion cells. Each one is a living chamber, a tiny community within itself. They float in the oceans of your blood, anchor themselves to the tissues of your skin, and weave together the muscles that let you move. And though these cells differ in form and purpose, some specialized for carrying oxygen, others for transmitting nerve impulses, they all share a common ancestry. Every cell carries within it the same set of instructions written in the same biological language, the DNA that connects you not only to other humans but to all living things. Think of this vast inner landscape. At one level, the body seems simple, a collection of bones, muscles, and organs that work together to move and think and feel. But beneath that surface lies a complexity beyond imagining. There are billions of interactions happening every second, each dependent on countless others. The heart cannot beat without signals from the nervous system. The lungs cannot draw air without muscles to move them. The brain cannot think without oxygen and glucose from the blood. It is a web of relationships so complete, so constant, that it becomes almost invisible to us. It is perhaps comforting to know that the body is always aware of what it needs, even when we are not. When the temperature drops, the muscles shiver to generate warmth. When it rises, sweat glistens on the skin to cool us. When energy is scarce, the liver quietly releases stored glucose into the bloodstream. These are acts of balance, part of the ancient principle of homeostasis, the body's instinct to maintain steady conditions in a changing world. Without our conscious thought, it keeps us alive through millions of subtle corrections, day and night. The body can be viewed as a system of systems, each one vital, each one interdependent. The cardiovascular system carries blood to every cell, delivering oxygen and nutrients, removing waste. The respiratory system draws in air, exchanging carbon dioxide for oxygen in the lungs' delicate alveoli. The nervous system, with its billions of neurons, sends rapid signals that allow thought, movement, and perception. The endocrine system works more slowly, releasing hormones that regulate growth, mood, and metabolism. The digestive system transforms food into the energy that sustains all the others. Around them all, the skeletal and muscular systems form the frame and engine of the body, while the immune system guards it from harm. Yet despite this intricate machinery, the body is not mechanical in any ordinary sense. It is alive, responsive, adaptable, and deeply aware of its surroundings. Every organ has its rhythm, every system its pulse, but all are synchronized in a single, unified flow. The heart beats faster when you breathe deeply. The brain calms the heart when you exhale slowly. The digestive tract relaxes when the mind is at peace. In this way, the body and mind are never separate but two faces of the same existence, constantly informing and balancing one another. It is astonishing to think that all of this began from a single fertilized cell, smaller than a grain of sand. That one cell divided, then divided again, building complexity layer by layer until a complete human being took form. Within that growing structure, some cells became muscle, others bone, others nerve or skin. Each learned its role through signals and timing, obeying a quiet molecular choreography. Even now, the same process continues, cells dying and being replaced, tissues renewing themselves in steady cycles. Within a year, most of the atoms in your body will have been replaced. In this sense, the body is less a thing and more a process, a continual flow of matter and energy arranged into the shape we call you. As you listen, perhaps you can sense this rhythm, the slow expansion of your lungs, the subtle pressure of your heartbeat, the warmth that spreads through your chest. These sensations are not separate from what we study in anatomy or physiology. They are living evidence of it. Every pulse of blood, every spark of thought, is part of a pattern that began long before your awareness and will continue long after you fall asleep tonight. The science of the body is not merely about names and structures. It is about appreciating the harmony that allows consciousness itself to exist. To understand the human body is to glimpse the unity of life. The same forces that shape the flow of blood also govern rivers and tides. The same chemical bonds that form the molecules of your cells hold together the stones of the earth: calcium, carbon, iron, and oxygen. The building blocks of your body were born in the hearts of long-dead stars. You are, quite literally, made of ancient light. The atoms that form your skin once drifted through space, gathered into clouds, and fell to earth as dust. In time, they became part of living cells, joined into tissues, and took on the patterns of life. When you breathe, you draw in air that has passed through countless other lungs before yours. When you drink water, you take in molecules older than the mountains. The human body, in this sense, is both personal and cosmic, a vessel that connects the past of the universe to the present moment. As we begin this gentle exploration of the body, it helps to approach it not as a machine to be analyzed, but as a companion to be understood. Every sensation you experience, the coolness of air on your skin, the heaviness of your limbs as you rest, is part of a larger dialogue between body and mind. The more we understand this dialogue, the more deeply we can appreciate the quiet intelligence that sustains us. In learning about our organs, our systems, and our cells, we are not only studying anatomy, we are also learning to recognize the deep calm that resides in the rhythm of life itself. So let this be the beginning of a slow journey inward. We will travel through the layers of the human form, from the microscopic to the visible, from the beating of the heart to the firing of the neurons that make awareness possible. We will move gently, as one might walk through a peaceful landscape, noticing how each part supports the next. By the end, the human body will no longer seem merely a collection of parts, but a living symphony of connection and continuity. For now, allow yourself to breathe evenly and settle into stillness. The body you inhabit is already doing all the work, healing, balancing, breathing, sustaining. It is a universe within you, silent but ceaseless, intricate but unified. As we continue, you may find that the more closely you listen to it, the quieter your thoughts become. The human body is not simply explained through facts and diagrams. It is experienced in every breath you take, and that, perhaps, is the most peaceful knowledge of all. 2. From cells to systems. Within the quiet depths of your body, there is an invisible order, a structure so well organized that it sustains life without your conscious awareness. Every living being, from the simplest single-celled organism to the complexity of humankind, is built upon the same elegant pattern, smaller parts uniting to form larger wholes, each level giving rise to something greater than itself. To understand the human body is to follow this path of organization from the microscopic world of cells to the grand orchestration of organ systems that together create the living, breathing person you are. The most fundamental unit of life is the cell. It is the smallest structure capable of carrying out all the functions that define something as alive. It can take in nutrients, produce energy, respond to its surroundings, grow, and reproduce. Each of the trillions of cells in your body operates like a tiny self-contained factory, equipped with tools and machinery built from molecules and proteins. Inside, organelles perform specialized tasks. The nucleus safeguards genetic information, the mitochondria generate energy, and the ribosomes assemble the proteins that build and repair tissues. Despite their miniature size, cells are vibrant communities, humming with activity, working together for the well-being of the whole organism. In their endless diversity, cells are astonishingly specialized. Some are slender and long, transmitting electrical signals at remarkable speeds, forming the intricate wiring of the nervous system. Others are strong and fibrous, woven together to create muscle. Some act as defenders, roaming the bloodstream and engulfing foreign invaders. Yet no matter how different their shapes or roles, all cells share the same underlying language written in DNA, the molecular script of life. Every cell holds the entire genetic blueprint of the body, though it reads only the parts relevant to its particular job. A skin cell, for instance, carries within it the same DNA as a neuron but interprets only the instructions needed to form protective layers, not to transmit impulses. This selective expression is what allows variety and function to emerge from unity. When cells group together, they form tissues, collections of similar cells working toward a shared purpose. There are 4 primary kinds of tissue that shape nearly every structure in the human body. Epithelial tissue forms coverings and linings, creating the outer layer of the skin and the delicate membranes that protect internal organs. Connective tissue provides strength and structure. It includes bone, cartilage, tendons, and even blood. Muscle tissue allows movement, from the gentle contraction of the heart to the subtle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. Nervous tissue carries messages in the form of electrical impulses, linking every part of the body to the mind. These 4 tissue types are the alphabet of the body's language, simple in number, yet capable of forming infinite expressions through their combinations. From tissues come organs, structures of remarkable complexity and purpose. An organ is more than just a collection of tissue. It is a community of different kinds of tissue, woven together to perform a specialized function. The heart, for instance, is built from muscle tissue that contracts rhythmically, connective tissue that gives it shape, epithelial tissue that lines its chambers, and nervous tissue that regulates its beat. The same pattern can be found in every organ, from the lungs that draw in air to the stomach that digests food. Each organ contributes something vital to the body's overall harmony, a piece of the larger pattern that keeps you alive. As organs combine, they form organ systems, larger networks that carry out complex, coordinated tasks. The digestive system, for example, begins with the mouth and ends with the intestines, with the stomach, liver, and pancreas assisting along the way. Together they transform food into usable energy and nutrients. The respiratory system brings oxygen into the body and releases carbon dioxide, working in partnership with the circulatory system, which carries these gases to and from every cell. The skeletal and muscular systems cooperate to give movement and support, while the nervous and endocrine systems communicate through signals both electrical and chemical. The urinary system filters waste, the immune system protects against disease, and the reproductive system ensures the continuation of life. Though it is useful to study these systems one at a time, the body itself does not separate them. Each system is woven seamlessly into the others, creating a living network that operates as one. When you eat, the digestive system extracts nutrients, the circulatory system transports them, and the cells use them to generate energy That energy fuels the contraction of muscles and the firing of neurons. When you exercise, your muscles demand more oxygen, prompting the respiratory system to quicken its rhythm and the heart to beat faster. When you rest, the endocrine system adjusts its signals to encourage repair and renewal. Every system listens and responds to the others, maintaining a state of balance so subtle that you rarely notice it until something disrupts it. This dynamic balance is known as homeostasis, the body's quiet art of self-regulation. Imagine a symphony in which every instrument constantly adjusts to remain in tune with the rest. That is how your systems behave forever, making small corrections to preserve internal harmony. When your temperature rises, you sweat to cool down. When it falls, you shiver to generate heat. If blood sugar drops, hormones are released to restore it. If oxygen levels decrease, your breathing deepens. These changes are often slight, unfolding at the molecular level. Yet they are the reason you can survive in an ever-changing world. At the foundation of all this organization lies energy, the currency that powers life. Cells must constantly produce and use energy to sustain themselves. Through the process of cellular respiration, glucose is broken down in the mitochondria, releasing energy stored in chemical bonds. This energy is captured in the form of adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, a molecule often called the energy carrier of the cell. Every heartbeat, every thought, every blink of an eye depends on ATP being created and consumed in a seamless cycle. The flow of this energy is what keeps the hierarchy of the body functioning from the smallest atom to the largest system. The structure of the body mirrors the structure of nature itself. Just as ecosystems depend on relationships between plants, animals, and their environment, the human body thrives through the cooperation of its parts. Cells are like individuals in a community. Tissues are the neighborhoods, organs the cities, and systems the nations, all connected by the circulation of energy and information. If one part falters, others compensate, adapting to preserve the whole. This resilience is what allows the body to heal after injury, to fight infection, and to endure the wear of time. And yet, for all its complexity, the body remains a place of deep simplicity. Every motion, every heartbeat, every breath follows patterns that have been refined over millions of years of evolution. The same cellular processes that occur in your body today have been unfolding in living organisms for billions of years. The molecules that compose you are ancient, yet they continue to act out the same choreography that has always sustained life. When you breathe, you echo the rhythm of all creatures that have ever drawn air into their lungs. When your heart beats, it follows the same pulse that moves through every living thing. To contemplate this organization from cells to systems is to sense the quiet intelligence of nature working within you. It is the understanding that your body is not merely a vessel, but a living expression of balance, built from patterns that extend far beyond you. Each heartbeat, each breath, is a reminder that you are part of a greater order, one that operates with grace and precision, even as you sleep. The study of anatomy reveals not just how we function, but how profoundly connected we are to ourselves, to one another, and to the living world around us. As this peaceful lecture continues, imagine these layers within you, cells joining into tissues, tissues forming organs, organs uniting into systems, and all working together to sustain your life. Every movement, every sensation, every quiet moment of rest arises from this remarkable coordination. The human body is not a collection of parts, but a single, living continuum, a tapestry of form and function woven so seamlessly that we rarely stop to marvel at it. In that realization lies a simple truth. Within your body resides an entire universe, intricate, balanced, and endlessly alive. 3. The fabric of life. Cells beneath the visible surface of your skin, deeper than the layers of muscle and bone. There exists a world so small that it can only be seen with the help of light or electron microscopes. It is a realm of quiet motion, where countless microscopic chambers, known as cells, work in unison to keep you alive. Each cell is a living unit, both independent and cooperative, capable of maintaining its own delicate internal environment while contributing to the greater whole of the body. When you consider that the human form is composed of more than 30 trillion of these tiny structures, it becomes clear that life itself is a masterpiece of organization, an ongoing symphony played by the smallest instruments imaginable. A single cell might seem insignificant when viewed alone, but in reality, it is a marvel of complexity. It is enclosed by a thin, flexible boundary called the plasma membrane, a living film that separates the cell's interior from the outside world. This membrane is not a simple wall. It is a selective gatekeeper, allowing essential substances to enter while keeping harmful ones out. It also facilitates communication between cells, sending and receiving molecular messages that coordinate countless activities throughout the body. Within this boundary lies the cytoplasm, a clear, gel-like substance that holds all the internal components in place, allowing them to float, interact, and carry out the work of life. At the heart of nearly every cell rests the nucleus, the control center. It is wrapped in its own double membrane and holds the most valuable possession. A cell owns its genetic material, the DNA. This DNA is arranged into long, thread-like molecules called chromosomes, each carrying thousands of genes. These genes serve as instructions for building proteins, which in turn perform nearly every function the body requires. When a cell needs to divide or repair itself, the DNA unwinds and replicates, ensuring that each new cell inherits an identical copy of these instructions. It is through this process that the continuity of life is maintained, linking each of your cells to the generations of life that came before you. Within the cell, the work never ceases. The mitochondria, often called the powerhouses of the cell, convert nutrients into usable energy through a process known as cellular respiration. The energy they produce, stored in the molecule ATP, powers everything from muscle contraction to nerve signaling. The endoplasmic reticulum, a network of folded membranes, assembles and transports proteins and lipids, while the Golgi apparatus acts as a sorting and shipping center, packaging these products for delivery to where they are needed. Lysosomes serve as the recycling units, breaking down old or damaged components into materials that can be reused. Even at this minute scale, efficiency reigns supreme. Nothing is wasted, and every molecule finds its purpose. Not all cells are the same. Their shapes and structures are exquisitely tailored to their roles. The neuron, for example, extends its long, branching arms to transmit electrical impulses over great distances, allowing thoughts and sensations to travel through your body. Red blood cells, in contrast, are smooth, flattened discs without nuclei, perfectly shaped to carry oxygen through narrow capillaries. Muscle cells are elongated and filled with fibers that slide past each other, creating movement. Bone cells produce and maintain the rigid framework that gives structure to the body. The diversity of cell forms mirrors the diversity of their functions, yet they all operate under the same guiding principles of life. Some cells live for only days, others for years. Skin cells at the surface wear away and are replaced every few weeks. The cells lining your stomach are renewed in a matter of days to withstand the acid they encounter. Neurons in the brain, however, may last a lifetime, carrying the same memories and patterns of thought from childhood to old age. This variation in lifespan reflects a balance between renewal and preservation. Where damage is frequent, replacement is swift. Where continuity is vital, longevity prevails. In this way, the body manages to remain both constant and ever-changing, a river of life flowing through the form of a person. Communication between cells is essential for harmony. Through chemical signals known as hormones and neurotransmitters, cells send messages across vast distances within the body. A gland in the neck can release a molecule that affects metabolism in every tissue. A neuron in the brain can signal a muscle in the leg to contract. Even neighboring cells engage in intimate conversations, exchanging ions and molecules through tiny junctions. These forms of communication are so finely tuned that the body can respond to changes in temperature, hunger, light, and emotion almost instantly. It is through this intricate web of signaling that consciousness itself becomes possible, the word, awareness of both the inner and outer worlds. When a cell divides, it undergoes a process known as mitosis. This is one of nature's most elegant performances, where a single cell duplicates its contents and splits into two identical daughters. Before division, the DNA coils into compact chromosomes, ensuring that each new cell receives a perfect copy. The cell then separates its internal structures, divides its cytoplasm, and forms two new membranes. From this simple act of duplication arises growth, healing, and renewal. When you scrape your skin or recover from illness, it is mitosis that restores what was lost, one cell at a time, until the wound is mended and balance is restored. Beyond the everyday processes of life, cells also carry the legacy of evolution. The structures within them hint at their ancient origins. The mitochondria, for instance, are believed to have once been free-living bacteria that entered into partnership with primitive cells billions of years ago. Rather than being digested, they offered their hosts a new source of energy in exchange for shelter. Over time, this alliance became permanent, and mitochondria became an inseparable part of every complex organism on Earth. This story of cooperation is still written into your cells today, a reminder that even at the smallest level, life thrives through partnership. Despite their resilience, cells are also fragile. Their harmony can be disrupted by toxins, radiation, or mutations in their DNA. When the balance of division and death is lost, diseases such as cancer can arise, cells that grow uncontrollably, ignoring the body's usual rules. Yet even here, the body responds with astonishing precision. Immune cells patrol the bloodstream, identifying and destroying those that stray from order. The persistence of health is not the absence of struggle. Every moment of your life is supported by this constant vigilance, carried out by unseen protectors on a microscopic scale. When viewed through a microscope, cells appear as translucent shapes, shimmering with life. But what they represent is more than a collection of biological components. They are the foundation of identity, memory, and sensation. Every thought that crosses your mind begins as an electrical impulse within a neuron. Every movement you make is the result of countless muscle cells contracting in perfect coordination. The very feeling of warmth, the rhythm of your heart, the clarity of your eyes, all of it originates in the silent labor of these minute structures. To study the cell is to glimpse the origin of complexity. From their cooperation arises tissues, organs, and the complete living being. It is humbling to realize that everything we call human, the mind, the emotions, the capacity to dream, is built from the activity of these microscopic entities. And yet, for all their complexity, cells are at peace with their purpose. They do not question their role or hesitate in their function. They exist in a state of continuous devotion, performing their tasks without pause or fatigue. As you rest, your cells continue their work. They repair tiny fractures, replace aging parts, and keep your heart beating in perfect rhythm. Even now, as your mind grows calm and your breathing slows, billions of cells are quietly active, tending to the intricate machinery of life. The body never stops. It simply changes its tempo, conserving energy, maintaining equilibrium. If you could hear it, it would not be a noise, but a soft, steady hum, the sound of life unfolding endlessly within you. To understand cells is to understand the fabric of life itself. They are the builders, the caretakers, and the storytellers of the body. Every one of them carries within it a record of the universe's history and a promise of continuity. They are both ancient and new, individual and collective, fragile and enduring, and in their ceaseless work, they embody the quiet persistence of existence, the gentle, ongoing rhythm that sustains you in every moment, even as you drift softly toward sleep. For the nervous system, the body's communication network. If the body were an orchestra, then the nervous system would be its conductor, silent, precise, and endlessly attentive. It does not play the instruments itself, yet through its direction, every movement and rhythm arises. The beating of the heart, the flutter of the eyelids, the shifting of breath as you fall asleep, all these actions are guided by a vast network of nerves that extends through every inch of your being. It is through this system that thought becomes motion, that sensations turn into awareness, and that your inner and outer worlds are joined in seamless harmony. The nervous system is both delicate and intricate, an immense network of communication, composed of billions of specialized cells known as neurons. These neurons are not merely components of tissue, but active participants in an electrical dialogue that never stops, even when you rest. At any given moment, millions of tiny impulses are traveling across your nerves at extraordinary speeds, carrying messages from one part of your body to another. It is through these quiet exchanges that the body maintains its awareness and coordination. When you lift your hand, it is because a signal, born in the brain, has traveled through nerves to your muscles, instructing them to contract. When you touch something warm or cold, the sensation travels back along other nerves to inform your brain of what you feel. Every thought, memory, and reaction arises through this living circuitry. At the center of this complex network lies the brain, a soft, folded organ protected by the skull. Though it weighs only about 3 pounds, it consumes roughly a fifth of the body's total energy, reflecting the constant activity taking place within. It is divided into regions, each with its own responsibilities, yet all work in exquisite cooperation. The cerebrum governs thought, memory, and decision-making. The cerebellum coordinates movement and balance. The brainstem, ancient in its design, controls the automatic functions that keep you alive: breathing, heartbeat, and digestion. From the brain descends the spinal cord, a slender column of nerve tissue that extends down through the spine, serving as the main highway for signals traveling to and from the rest of the body. Branching from the spinal cord are 31 pairs of spinal nerves, which carry information outward to every muscle and inward from every sense receptor. This network, together with the brain, forms the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, two parts of a single, continuous whole. The central system is the command center, where information is processed and decisions are made. The peripheral system serves as the messenger, delivering those commands and returning sensory information in an unending exchange. These systems are bound together so intimately that the line between thought and action often seems to vanish. You do not have to will your heart to beat or your lungs to expand. The brain and nerves take care of these things automatically, as though they were breathing life into you moment by moment. The neuron, the basic unit of the nervous system, is among the most remarkable cells in existence. Its shape is unique, long, branching, and almost tree-like. At its center is the soma, or cell body, which contains the nucleus and sustains the cell's life. Extending from it are dendrites, fine, branching filaments that receive incoming signals from other neurons. From the soma stretches a single, slender extension called the axon, which transmits electrical impulses outward. The axon may be a fraction of a millimeter in length or stretch over a meter, as in the nerves that run from the spinal cord to the toes. Along its surface are insulating layers called myelin sheaths that allow impulses to travel more quickly leaping from one gap to another in bursts of speed. At the end of the axon are the synaptic terminals, tiny structures that connect to other neurons, muscle cells, or glands. The gap between one neuron and the next is known as a synapse, and it is here that communication truly occurs. When an electrical signal reaches the end of the axon, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that cross the synaptic gap and bind to receptors on the receiving cell. This contact sets off a new electrical impulse, allowing the message to continue its journey. This process happens countless times every second, forming a vast web of interlinked communication. Though each connection is microscopic, together they form the biological basis for perception, emotion, and consciousness itself. The brain's language is electrical, but its tone is chemical. Each neurotransmitter carries a distinct message. Some excite the neurons, others calm them. Dopamine rewards and motivates. Serotonin promotes calm and contentment. Acetylcholine aids in learning and movement. And GABA soothes overactive circuits, helping the mind find rest. When these chemical messengers are balanced, thought and emotion flow smoothly, like water in a clear stream. When they falter, the stream may grow turbulent, giving rise to anxiety, fatigue, or confusion. Yet even then, the body continues its patient effort to restore equilibrium. The nervous system is not static. It learns, adapts, and reorganizes itself, building new pathways and strengthening old ones through experience. This ability, known as neuroplasticity, ensures that growth and healing are always possible, even in the quiet landscape of the adult brain. The nervous system functions on multiple levels of awareness. Some of its actions are voluntary, like deciding to speak or to move your hand. Others are involuntary, guided by the autonomic nervous system, which regulates the body's internal state without conscious effort. This system has two complementary divisions: the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic division prepares the body for activity, heightening alertness, quickening the heartbeat, and sharpening the senses. The parasympathetic division brings the body back to calm, slowing the heart, relaxing the muscles, and restoring balance. Together they form a rhythmic cycle, a tide of energy and rest that mirrors the natural rhythms of day and night. Sensory input is the way the nervous system connects you to the world. Through the senses, information flows inward: light striking the eyes, sound vibrating the eardrums, pressure touching the skin. Each sense converts physical energy into electrical signals that travel along nerves to the brain. There, these signals are processed, interpreted, and woven into a coherent picture of reality. What you see, hear, and feel are not raw sensations but refined impressions, shaped by the brain's constant filtering and interpretation. Even in darkness, the brain continues to generate images and thoughts, drawing on memory and imagination. In this way, the nervous system is not only a receiver of experience but a creator of it. The communication that takes place within the nervous system is astonishingly fast, yet it operates with perfect quiet. There are no moving gears, no visible wires, only impulses traveling across delicate threads of living tissue. If you could slow time and observe these signals as they pass, you would see flashes of light cascading through the intricate folds of the brain, each one marking a thought, a feeling, a sensation. It is a silent fire, burning without heat, illuminating without flame. Every movement, every memory, every dream is born in that luminous flow. Even as you rest, the nervous system remains active. It regulates your breathing, monitors your heartbeat, and keeps you poised between wakefulness and sleep. During sleep, the brain organizes and consolidates memories, weaving them into the patterns that shape your understanding of the world. Nerve cells continue their quiet conversations, replaying the events of the day and preparing you for the next. The body may appear still, but within, the network of nerves continues to hum with life, ensuring that balance and rhythm endure through the night. To reflect on the nervous system is to glimpse the union of body and mind. It is the bridge between the physical and the intangible, translating sensations into thoughts and thoughts into actions. It gives rise to awareness, allowing you to know that you exist and to perceive the world around you. And though it is made of fragile tissue, it carries within it the essence of consciousness, that silent spark that observes, remembers, and dreams. As you drift deeper into calm, imagine the nervous system not as a tangle of fibers but as a constellation of light, each neuron a star communicating with others across vast distances. Together they form the luminous pattern that is you, ever changing, ever connected, and endlessly alive. Even in stillness, it continues its gentle work, guiding breath, thought, and feeling into harmony. And in that harmony lies one of the quietest, most beautiful truths of life. That awareness itself is a form of balance, a soft glow that flickers gently within the vast, intricate universe of the human body. 5. The endocrine system. Silent messengers. Within the body, there exists a language that speaks not through words or nerve impulses, but through invisible messengers that drift gently through the bloodstream. These messengers are hormones, tiny molecules that carry instructions from one organ to another, coordinating everything from growth and metabolism to sleep and mood. They do not rush. They do not shout. Instead, they whisper their signals quietly, moving through the body's internal rivers until they reach their destinations. The system that creates and manages these chemical messages is called the endocrine system, a network of glands that maintains the deep, steady rhythm of life. Unlike the nervous system, which communicates at lightning speed through electrical impulses, the endocrine system moves slowly, deliberately. Its effects take time to unfold, but they endure longer, often guiding processes that last hours, days, or even years. Where nerves command immediate responses, muscles to contract, eyes to blink, hormones oversee gradual transformations. They regulate growth during childhood, influence energy use throughout adulthood, and orchestrate the complex cycles of reproduction. They shape the quiet balance of metabolism and the subtle moods of emotion. If the nervous system is the body's electric current, the endocrine system is its tide, rising and falling with quiet persistence. The glands that make up this system are scattered throughout the body, each serving a particular purpose, yet all connected by their shared role in maintaining harmony. At the center of this network lies the hypothalamus, a small but powerful region deep within the brain. It acts as the bridge between the nervous and endocrine systems, receiving signals from the mind and translating them into hormonal instructions. When you feel stress, hunger, or fatigue, the hypothalamus perceives these changes and tells the body how to respond. It releases hormones that travel to the pituitary gland, a structure no larger than a pea, often called the master gland because it influences nearly every other gland in the body. The pituitary gland secretes a range of hormones that regulate growth, reproduction, and metabolism. One of its most well-known hormones is growth hormone, which stimulates the development of bone and muscle. Others direct the thyroid, adrenal glands, and reproductive organs to release their own hormones in proper measure. The pituitary does not act alone. It responds constantly to feedback from the organs it controls. When a certain hormone level becomes too high or too low, signals return to the pituitary, prompting it to adjust. This continuous exchange of messages forms a feedback loop, a natural mechanism that ensures stability. It is this principle of balance that defines the endocrine system, always adjusting, never still, maintaining the delicate equilibrium that keeps the body in harmony. Just below the larynx, wrapped around the trachea, lies the thyroid gland, shaped like a butterfly, It produces hormones that influence nearly every cell in the body. These hormones regulate how quickly energy is used, how fast the heart beats, how warm the body feels, and how swiftly cells perform their work. When thyroid hormones flow too freely, the metabolism speeds up, bringing restlessness, quickened heartbeat, and fatigue. When their levels fall too low, the body slows down, and one feels cold, sluggish, and heavy. Through this fine control of energy, the thyroid sets the tempo for life's processes, keeping them steady and efficient. Behind the thyroid, like small hidden seeds, lie the parathyroid glands, which play a crucial role in managing calcium levels. Calcium is not only the substance that strengthens bones and teeth, it also enables nerves to send signals and muscles to contract. When calcium in the blood dips below its ideal range, the parathyroid glands release a hormone that signals the bones to release calcium, the kidneys to conserve it, and the intestines to absorb more from food. When levels rise, another hormone reduces this activity, guiding calcium back into balance. This gentle negotiation ensures that one of the body's most essential minerals remains stable, neither excessive nor deficient. Above each kidney rests an adrenal gland, small and triangular, yet vital for responding to the demands of life. The adrenal glands are divided into two regions, the outer cortex and the inner medulla. The cortex produces hormones that regulate salt and water balance, metabolism, and the body's response to stress over long periods. The medulla, by contrast, releases adrenaline and noradrenaline hormones that act quickly in times of urgency. When the mind perceives danger, these hormones flood the bloodstream, quickening the heartbeat, opening the airways, and sharpening the senses. It is the body's natural preparation for action. But even after the moment passes, the adrenal glands help restore calm, releasing hormones that signal recovery and renewal. Through this dual function, they embody the balance between readiness and rest, alertness and peace. In the curve of the stomach lies the pancreas, a gland with both digestive and endocrine duties. It produces insulin and glucagon, two hormones that work together to maintain stable blood sugar levels. When glucose rises after a meal, insulin helps cells absorb it for energy or storage. When glucose falls, glucagon signals the liver to release its reserves, keeping the supply constant. This equilibrium is vital. Too much or too little glucose can disrupt the body's entire chemistry. Through these opposing but harmonious forces, the pancreas ensures that energy is always available in just the right measure, a balance that quietly sustains every heartbeat and breath. The endocrine system also governs reproduction and the cycles of life itself. In females, the ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone, hormones that regulate the menstrual cycle, influence mood, and prepare the body for potential pregnancy. In males, the testes produce testosterone, which drives the development of muscle, bone, and reproductive function. Though these hormones differ in type and concentration, they share a purpose: to sustain the continuity of life. Their influence extends beyond reproduction, shaping energy levels, mental focus, and emotional tone. They remind us that the processes of the body are not separate from the experiences of the mind. They are threads of the same tapestry. Even in the brain, endocrine signals play a quiet, yet profound role. The pineal gland, a tiny structure near the center of the brain, releases melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep. As light fades in the evening, melatonin levels rise, guiding the body toward rest. When dawn arrives, its production slows, allowing wakefulness to return. This daily rhythm connects the inner world of the body to the outer cycle of the earth, aligning us with the natural ebb and flow of time. Through this synchronization, the endocrine system helps sustain not only physical health, but also a sense of harmony with the wider environment. What makes the endocrine system remarkable is its constancy. It does not cease or falter, even when you sleep. Its hormones drift continuously through the blood, maintaining temperature, energy, and emotional steadiness. They are the silent caretakers of the body's inner world, always adjusting the balance, ensuring that no single process overwhelms another. Their communication is subtle, measured not in seconds but in cycles and seasons. Puberty, pregnancy, aging, all are guided by hormonal tides, rising and falling with patient inevitability. When this balance is disturbed, the effects ripple throughout the body. A deficiency or excess of a single hormone can alter metabolism, mood, or growth. Yet the body's capacity for correction is extraordinary. The glands sense imbalance and respond, guided by feedback that acts much like the tuning of an instrument. In time, harmony is restored. Even when illness occurs, the underlying intelligence of the system continues its effort to heal and recalibrate, striving always toward equilibrium. To reflect on the endocrine system is to recognize the quiet grace that sustains life. Unlike the obvious movement of muscles or the sound of a beating heart, its work is invisible, conducted through molecules too small to see. Yet without it, thought would falter, growth would cease, and emotion would lose its shape. It is a system built on patience and precision, one that allows the body to flow smoothly from one state to another, alertness to rest, hunger to satiety, youth to maturity. As you rest now, the hormones within you continue their journey, carried gently through the bloodstream. Like messages on a current, they tell your body to slow its heart, to cool its temperature, to ready itself for sleep. They whisper to the brain that it is time to restore and renew. And as you drift toward calm, their work continues, silent and unceasing, guiding the hidden rhythms that sustain you through the night. The endocrine system never announces itself, yet it is always present, a soft and steady voice that keeps the body in perfect conversation with itself, maintaining the balance that allows life to endure in peaceful, enduring harmony. 6. The circulatory system, the pulse of life. There is a rhythm that never stops, a sound that has been with you since before you were born, the steady beating of your heart. It is a sound so constant that you rarely notice it, yet it marks every moment of your existence. Beneath your quiet chest, this rhythm propels life through the intricate highways of your body, sending nourishment, oxygen, and warmth to every living cell. The circulatory system, often called the cardiovascular system, is the body's river of vitality. Through an endless network of vessels, it carries not only the raw materials of survival but also the quiet assurance that every part of you, from the smallest cell in your fingertip to the deepest organ within, is connected by flow. At the center of this system is the heart, a muscular organ about the size of a fist, resting slightly to the left of the chest. Though small in stature, it performs one of the most astonishing feats in nature. It beats more than 100,000 times each day, sending blood through nearly 60,000 miles of vessels. From the moment it first begins to contract in the developing embryo, the heart never stops. Even as you sleep, its rhythm continues strong, patient, and unwavering. Each beat is a pulse of life, a wave that travels outward, carrying energy and renewal. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, 2 atria on the top and 2 ventricles below. The right side receives blood returning from the body, blood that has given up its oxygen and must be replenished. From there, the heart sends this blood to the lungs, where it releases carbon dioxide and absorbs fresh oxygen. The left side then receives this revitalized blood and sends it through the aorta, the largest artery, out into the body's vast network of vessels. In this way, the heart performs a perfect loop, an unending circuit of giving and receiving, exhaustion and renewal, a mirror of the larger cycles that sustain all living things. The blood that flows through this system is itself a living tissue, composed of several vital elements. Red blood cells, the most numerous, are the carriers of oxygen. They owe their deep crimson color to hemoglobin, a protein that binds oxygen in the lungs and releases it where it is needed throughout the body. These cells live for about 4 months before being replaced, a constant renewal that ensures vitality never fades. White blood cells, fewer in number but fierce in purpose, are the guardians of the immune system. They patrol the bloodstream, identifying and neutralizing foreign invaders. Platelets, tiny fragments of cells, rush to the site of injury to form clots and stop bleeding. Suspended in plasma, a clear, golden fluid that makes up more than half of the blood's volume. These components move together in a slow, deliberate dance. The vessels through which this blood travels form one of the most intricate structures ever known. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, their walls thick and elastic to withstand the pressure of each pulse. As they branch into smaller arterioles and then into capillaries, the flow slows, allowing for exchange. It is within these delicate capillaries, so fine that red blood cells must pass through in single file, that the essential trade of life occurs. Oxygen and nutrients pass from the blood into the tissues, while carbon dioxide and waste products move in the opposite direction. Once this exchange is complete, the now deoxygenated blood begins its return journey through veins, which merge into larger vessels until they reach the heart once more. To understand the circulatory system is to see the body as a landscape in motion. Blood flows like a river, pulsing through branching tributaries that reach every corner. In one endless cycle, it delivers what is needed and carries away what is no longer useful. This constant movement is what keeps the body warm, nourished, and alive. When you take a breath, the oxygen enters the lungs and diffuses into the bloodstream. When you exhale, the carbon dioxide carried back by the blood is released into the air. Every system of the body depends upon this circulation. The muscles need it for energy, the brain for thought, the skin for warmth, and the organs for function. Without it, even for moments, life cannot continue. The heart's rhythm is not random. It adapts to every circumstance of existence. When you rest, it slows, conserving energy, allowing you to sink into calm. When you move, it quickens, sending blood more swiftly to your muscles. When you are afraid, adrenaline surges from the adrenal glands, and the heart races to prepare you for action. When you are content, parasympathetic signals ease its pace. Each beat is not simply mechanical, it responds to emotion, thought, and breath, echoing the inner landscape of your mind. In moments of serenity, the heart and breath move together in slow harmony, like waves rising and falling upon a quiet shore. Encircling this system is the network of lymphatic vessels, often forgotten but vital to balance. The lymphatic system collects excess fluid that seeps from the capillaries into the tissues and returns it to the bloodstream. It also transports immune cells and filters harmful substances through small structures called lymph nodes. Like a shadow of the circulatory system, it works silently alongside it, maintaining equilibrium, cleansing the body's internal waters. Without it, swelling and stagnation would occur. But through its constant motion, clarity and flow are preserved. The blood's journey through the body can be imagined as a story of exchange and renewal. As it passes through the lungs, it gathers oxygen, a fresh breath of life, traveling through the arteries. It carries that gift to every organ, every cell. There, it releases its oxygen and picks up the byproducts of cellular work, carbon dioxide and other wastes. Then, through the veins, it returns home to the heart and lungs, where the cycle begins anew. This rhythm repeats endlessly, day after day, year after year, a circular motion that mirrors the turning of the earth itself. The efficiency of this system is remarkable. In less than a minute, the heart can pump blood through the entire body. Each cell, no matter how distant, receives oxygen within seconds of needing it. When you think, the neurons in your brain consume vast amounts of oxygen, and the blood responds instantly. When you move, muscles require more fuel, and vessels expand to deliver it. When you sleep, the flow slows but never stops, ensuring that restoration continues even in stillness. This constancy brings peace to the body. The heart's steady rhythm, measured but unbroken, becomes a quiet reassurance, a pulse that says, life is here, and it continues. Even the smallest fluctuation, the pause between beats, the gentle acceleration when you breathe in, and the soft slowing as you breathe out reflects a living intelligence. The body knows what to do. It adjusts, responds, and restores balance without thought or command. Yet, despite its strength, the circulatory system is also fragile. It depends on the quality of what moves through it, the oxygen you breathe, the water you drink, the nourishment you take in. It reflects the state of your emotions, quickening with excitement, tightening with fear, softening with calm. When stress endures, the heart works harder. When peace returns, it rests. The health of the circulatory system mirrors the rhythm of your life itself, responding to every change, every breath, every feeling. Consider how seamlessly this system unites the body. The same blood that brings oxygen to your brain also nourishes your fingertips. The same heart that beats within your chest sustains every living cell. This unity is a quiet reminder that you are not a collection of separate parts, but one continuous whole. The pulse in your wrist, the warmth in your hands, the soft rise and fall of your chest, all are signs of the same life force, flowing through you without end. As you rest now, that flow continues. The heart, tireless and faithful, moves blood through its chambers, into the arteries, through the veins, and back again. It does not ask for your attention, simply does its work, keeping you alive in every moment. The sound of your heartbeat, if you were to listen closely, would echo like the rhythm of the sea, steady, soothing, eternal. In its pulse lies the story of your existence. Movement, exchange, renewal, and peace. And as it beats softly within you, it whispers the oldest message of all, that life, at its heart, is movement in harmony, a rhythm that carries on quietly, unbroken, and full of grace. 7. The respiratory system, breath and balance. Each breath you take is a meeting between your body and the world. It is an exchange so quiet and so constant that it often passes unnoticed, yet it is one of the most essential acts of life. With every inhalation, air flows into your lungs, bringing oxygen to your blood, and with every exhalation, that air returns outward, carrying away carbon dioxide, the natural byproduct of living cells. This rhythmic exchange, repeated thousands of times a day, sustains every organ, every cell, every thought. The respiratory system is the bridge between the inner world of the body and the outer atmosphere, maintaining a delicate balance that allows life to continue in calm and perfect harmony. When you breathe in, the journey of air begins at the nose or mouth. The air you draw in carries not only oxygen but the coolness of the environment, the faint scent of the world around you. As it passes through the nasal passages, it is warmed, moistened, and filtered by tiny hairs called cilia. Dust and particles are trapped before they can travel deeper. This first step is one of gentle purification, ensuring that what reaches the lungs is clean and safe. The air then flows down the pharynx and larynx, through the trachea, and finally divides into 2 bronchi, one leading to each lung. From there, the bronchi branch into smaller bronchioles, creating an ever-narrowing network of passageways, like the limbs of a tree dividing into finer and finer twigs. At the end of these branches lie the alveoli, tiny sacs where the miracle of gas exchange takes place. Each lung contains roughly 300 million alveoli, their combined surface area larger than a tennis court. These delicate structures are surrounded by webs of capillaries, thin enough to allow oxygen and carbon dioxide to pass freely between air and blood. When you inhale, oxygen diffuses through the walls of the alveoli into the bloodstream, where it binds with hemoglobin and red blood cells. When you exhale, carbon dioxide, gathered from the body's cells, moves in the opposite direction from blood to air to be expelled. This quiet exchange, microscopic yet powerful, occurs continuously, a perfect balance of giving and receiving. The act of breathing itself is guided by a muscle called the diaphragm, a broad sheet that separates the chest from the abdomen. When you inhale, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, expanding the chest cavity and drawing air into the lungs. When you exhale, it relaxes and rises, pushing air out again. The movement is gentle, rhythmic, and unceasing. Even as you sleep, the diaphragm continues its work, ensuring that the body never lacks the breath of life. Alongside the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles between the ribs assist in expanding and contracting the chest. Together, these muscles make breathing seem effortless, though in truth, it is one of the most beautifully orchestrated processes in nature. The nervous system governs the rhythm of breath, adjusting it moment by moment according to the body's needs. When you rest, the breathing slows. When you exert yourself, it quickens. Deep within the brainstem, the respiratory center monitors the levels of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the blood, sending signals to the muscles of respiration to increase or decrease the rate. This automatic regulation means that even if you do not think about breathing, it continues without interruption. And yet, unlike most other involuntary functions, breathing can also be consciously controlled. You can choose to take a slow, deliberate breath, to hold it, to sigh, or to exhale deeply. In doing so, you can influence the rhythm of your heartbeat, your emotions, even your state of mind. There is a deep connection between breath and calm. When breathing becomes shallow and hurried, the heart follows suit. The mind grows restless, and tension builds. But when breathing slows, expanding into long, steady waves, everything within begins to quiet. The nervous system senses this pattern and responds by activating the body's parasympathetic pathways, the circuits of rest and restoration. This is why deep breathing brings peace. It is not just an idea, but a physiological truth. The body listens to the breath, and the mind listens to the body. Through this connection, balance is restored. The lungs themselves are extraordinary in their structure and function. They are soft and spongy, filled not with muscle but with air and elastic tissue. Each lung is divided into lobes, the right lung with 3, the left with 2, making room for the heart nestled beside it. Wrapped around them is the pleura, a double layer of smooth membrane, with a thin film of fluid between. This fluid reduces friction as the lungs expand and contract, allowing the movement of breath to remain smooth and silent. The entire chest cavity moves as one, rising and falling in a slow, graceful motion that mirrors the tides of the sea. Oxygen, once carried into the bloodstream, becomes the fuel for every cell. Within the mitochondria, the cell's powerhouses, oxygen allows nutrients to be converted into energy. Without it, the body's processes would falter within moments. Yet even as oxygen sustains life, carbon dioxide plays its own quiet role. Though often considered a waste gas, it is essential for maintaining the body's acid-base balance. If carbon dioxide levels fall too low, the blood becomes too alkaline. If they rise too high, it becomes too acidic. The respiratory system carefully regulates both gases, ensuring that each exhalation removes just enough carbon dioxide to keep equilibrium intact. The act of breathing also influences the circulation of blood. As you inhale, the expansion of the chest cavity reduces pressure around the heart, drawing blood more easily into its chambers. As you exhale, the pressure increases slightly, helping to push blood onward through the vessels. In this way, every breath becomes a gentle companion to every heartbeat. The two rhythms are intertwined, one supporting the other, their partnership as ancient as life itself. Even the smallest aspects of breathing hold profound meaning. Consider a sigh, a slow, deep exhalation that often comes without thought. It is the body's natural reset, a way of releasing built-up tension. A yawn, too, expands the lungs fully, refreshing the system with oxygen and relieving fatigue. Laughter, singing, speech, all depend on the breath. Through it, we express emotion, communicate thought, and connect with others. It is through breath that the inner world meets the outer, that silence gives way to sound. When you observe the natural world, you find that everything breathes in its own way. The ocean inhales and exhales with the tide. The forests exchange gases through their leaves. Even the Earth's atmosphere circulates in patterns that echo the rhythm of respiration. The human breath is a reflection of this universal movement. Each inhale draws in the energy of the world, and each exhale returns something of ourselves to it. In this sense, every breath is an act of participation in life's greater cycle, a reminder that you are not separate from your environment, but deeply, continuously connected to it. As you settle into stillness, notice the sensation of air entering through your nose, cool and light, filling your lungs, and leaving again, warm and soft. The rise and fall of your chest, the faint pause between breaths. These are not just physical actions, but expressions of balance. The respiratory system does more than sustain the body. It reflects the harmony of being alive. In every moment, without command or effort, it ensures that life continues, that each cell receives what it needs, that calm remains possible. The next time you take a slow breath, consider the journey it represents from the open air around you to the smallest cell within. That invisible thread of oxygen links you to the trees that release it, to the oceans that absorb it, to every living creature that shares it. In the quiet space between inhalation and exhalation lies a simple truth. You are part of something vast, an unbroken exchange that has flowed through all life since time began. The respiratory system is not only the keeper of your breath, it is the rhythm of connection, the song of balance that continues, softly and eternally, within you. 8. The digestive system, energy and transformation. Within the quiet depths of your body, another world is always at work, one that turns what you eat into the energy that sustains your life. The digestive system is a journey of transformation, a long and intricate pathway through which every meal becomes part of you. It begins at the moment of anticipation, when the scent of food awakens the senses, and ends when the body has absorbed all it needs and released what it does not. It is a process both mechanical and chemical, rhythmic and continuous, a cycle of nourishment that connects you to the living world in the most direct way. Digestion begins long before food reaches the stomach. The simple act of seeing, smelling, or even thinking about food triggers responses deep within the body. Salivary glands awaken, secreting fluid that moistens the mouth and prepares it for the first stage of transformation. When you take a bite, your teeth perform their quiet labor, breaking food into smaller pieces and mixing it with saliva. This saliva contains an enzyme called amylase, which begins the process of breaking down carbohydrates. As you chew, the food becomes a soft mass known as a bolus, ready to travel onward. The act of swallowing is smooth and instinctive. Muscles in the throat move in perfect sequence, guiding the bolus into the esophagus, a long, muscular tube that carries it toward the stomach. The motion of the esophagus is gentle yet powerful. Waves of contraction, known as peristalsis, push the food downward, assisted by gravity, but not dependent on it. Even if you were upside down, this same wave-like motion would still guide the food to its destination. At the end of the esophagus, a ring of muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter relaxes to allow the bolus into the stomach, then closes again to prevent anything from returning upward. This simple movement is part of a finely tuned coordination that ensures one direction, only forward, toward transformation. The stomach, resting just below the ribs, is a muscular chamber designed for mixing, breaking, and dissolving. It secretes powerful digestive juices containing hydrochloric acid and enzymes that unravel proteins into smaller fragments. The lining of the stomach is coated in mucus, protecting it from the corrosive nature of its own secretions. Here, food is churned by rhythmic contractions until it becomes a semi-liquid mixture known as chyme. The process may take several hours, depending on what was eaten. Lighter meals pass quickly, while heavier or fattier foods require more time and patience. During this stage, the stomach acts as both a vessel of transformation and a guardian, carefully regulating the release of its contents into the small intestine. Once ready, the chyme passes through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum, the first section of the small intestine. Here, the real alchemy of digestion unfolds. The pancreas releases enzymes that break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats into their simplest forms. The liver produces bile, stored and concentrated in the gallbladder, which emulsifies fats so they can be digested more easily. These secretions mix with the chyme, transforming it into a fluid rich in nutrients ready for absorption. It is in the small intestine that the body truly begins to harvest the energy of food. The walls of the small intestine are lined with millions of tiny folds called villi and microvilli, which increase the surface area available for absorption. Each villus contains capillaries and lymphatic vessels that carry nutrients into the bloodstream and onward to the rest of the body. Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals all are absorbed here, each molecule finding its way to where it is needed most. Some nourish the brain, others repair tissue, and still others are stored for future use. This quiet absorption is constant and seamless, an invisible act of generosity from the body to itself. The remaining material, now largely stripped of its nutrients, moves into the large intestine, also known as the colon. Here, the focus shifts from absorption to conservation. The colon retrieves water and electrolytes, ensuring that hydration and mineral balance are maintained. It is also home to a vast community of microorganisms collectively known as the gut microbiota. These bacteria, numbering in the trillions, in digestion and overall health. They break down fibers that human enzymes cannot digest, producing beneficial compounds, such as short-chain fatty acids, that nourish the cells of the colon. They also synthesize certain vitamins and help protect against harmful bacteria. In their silent, microscopic world, these organisms form a partnership with the body, a relationship that has existed for as long as humanity itself. As the digestive process nears completion, the remaining waste is compacted and stored in the rectum until the body is ready to release it. This final act of elimination is as vital as the first act of consumption, for it completes the cycle and allows the body to remain in balance. Each stage of digestion, from the initial bite to the last release, reflects a profound efficiency. Nothing is wasted. Every element is processed, used, or returned to the earth, where it can begin anew in another form. The digestive system is not merely mechanical, it is deeply responsive to emotion and environment. When the body is calm, digestion proceeds smoothly. Blood flows freely to the stomach and intestines. Enzymes are released in abundance, and muscles move in gentle coordination. When stress arises, however, the body shifts its energy toward alertness and defense. Blood is redirected to the muscles and brain, and digestion slows. This connection between mind and body reveals itself in simple ways: a nervous stomach before an important moment, a loss of appetite under worry, or a comforting hunger in times of peace. The gut, often called the second brain, is lined with millions of nerve cells that communicate directly with the brain through the vagus nerve. This communication shapes not only digestion but mood and emotion, linking nourishment and feeling into one continuous flow. Within the stillness of the digestive process lies a deeper truth about transformation. Every meal is a moment of connection between your body and the world outside it. The fruits of the earth, the grains of the field, the waters of the sea all pass through you, offering their energy before returning to the cycle of life. The food you eat becomes the cells of your body, the energy of your muscles, the thoughts in your mind. You are sustained by the world, and in turn, you sustain it. Through digestion, life renews itself again and again, quietly and without end. Imagine now the rhythm of your own body after a meal. The heart beats steadily, sending blood to the stomach and intestines. The diaphragm moves softly with each breath. Deep within, enzymes flow, muscles contract, and nutrients are absorbed, all without your notice. It is an internal symphony of chemistry and motion, one that has played every day since your first breath, and will continue for as long as you live. As you rest, this process continues at its own pace. The body, ever wise, digests not only food but experience breaking down what it receives, drawing what is useful, and letting go of what is no longer needed. It is a reflection of the same pattern that governs nature itself: intake, transformation, release. In the quiet of this balance, the digestive system performs its timeless work, turning nourishment into life, matter into energy, and the outside world into the very essence of who you are. 9. The muscular system, motion in stillness. Beneath the surface of your skin lies a world of constant movement, even in the moments when you are perfectly still. The muscular system is the quiet engine of the human body, a network of fibers and tissues that allow you to move, to breathe, to hold yourself upright, and to express the emotions that pass across your face. It is through the muscles that thought becomes action, that intention takes form, and that the simplest of gestures, a step, a blink, a heartbeat, can unfold with ease. Every movement, from the grand to the microscopic, is guided by the seamless cooperation of this living machinery, tireless and precise, always in motion, even in sleep. There are more than 600 muscles in the human body, each one designed for a specific purpose. Some are large and powerful, capable of lifting weight and propelling the body forward. Others are small and delicate, responsible for fine movements like the turning of the eyes or the subtle curvature of a smile. All are composed of the same fundamental material: long, slender fibers capable of contraction and relaxation. This simple ability to shorten and then return to their original length is what makes movement possible. When millions of these fibers act together, the effect is both graceful and strong, like the coordinated flow of water through a river. The muscles of the body are broadly divided into 3 types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Skeletal muscles are those that attach to bones, controlled by conscious thought. They are the muscles that allow you to walk, run, and grasp. Smooth muscles, found in the walls of internal organs such as the stomach, intestines, and blood vessels, work automatically, guiding digestion and circulation without your awareness. Cardiac muscle, unique to the heart, beats continuously throughout life, maintaining the rhythm of existence itself. Though each type has its own structure and purpose, all share one common feature: they are built for endurance, for perpetual activity, for life in motion. The skeletal muscles form the body's visible shape, giving it strength and form. They are anchored to bones by tendons, tough cords of connective tissue. that transmit the force of contraction. When a muscle contracts, it pulls on the bone to which it is attached, creating movement at the joint. Opposing muscles work in pairs. One contracts while the other relaxes, maintaining harmony in every action. When you bend your arm, the biceps tighten as the triceps release. When you straighten it, this partnership exists throughout the body, a choreography of balance that allows motion to be smooth and controlled. Every contraction, whether voluntary or involuntary, begins with a signal from the nervous system. A tiny electrical impulse travels from the brain or spinal cord along a nerve fiber until it reaches the muscle. At the point of contact, known as the neuromuscular junction, the impulse triggers the release of chemical messengers that tell the muscle fibers to contract. These signals occur with astonishing speed and precision, so swiftly that the movement appears instantaneous. Even the act of typing a word or taking a single breath depends on countless such messages being delivered and received in perfect order. Within each muscle fiber, contraction is driven by a microscopic mechanism. The fibers are composed of smaller units called myofibrils, which contain repeating structures known as sarcomeres. Inside the sarcomere, two types of protein filaments, actin and myosin, slide past one another when the muscle contracts. This sliding action shortens the muscle, producing force and movement. It is a process that occurs silently and invisibly, yet it powers everything you do. The energy required for this motion comes from adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the same molecule that fuels nearly all cellular activity. Muscles store small amounts of ATP and continually generate more as they work, drawing energy from nutrients carried by the blood. The relationship between muscles and energy is intimate. During activity, muscles use oxygen to produce energy through aerobic respiration. When oxygen supply cannot keep up with demand, they shift temporarily to anaerobic metabolism, creating energy more rapidly, but producing lactic acid as a byproduct. This accumulation of acid contributes to the feeling of fatigue, a signal that the body needs rest. As you recover, oxygen levels are restored, lactic acid is cleared away, and the muscles return to readiness. This natural rhythm of exertion and restoration reflects the body's constant search for balance, same principle that governs all its systems. Even when you appear motionless, your muscles remain active. They maintain posture, holding the spine erect, the head balanced, the limbs supported against gravity. These subtle contractions are so habitual that they rarely enter consciousness. Yet without them, the body would collapse into stillness. Muscles also play a role in circulation, particularly in the legs, where their contractions help push blood back toward the heart. With each step, the muscles act as auxiliary pumps, ensuring that the flow of life continues upward against gravity's pull. Smooth muscles, though hidden from sight, are equally vital. In the walls of the digestive tract, they contract rhythmically, moving food along through peristalsis. In blood vessels, they constrict or relax to regulate blood pressure and flow. In the lungs, they adjust the diameter of airways, guiding each breath with subtle precision. These muscles work without conscious control, responding to the body's internal signals. They are the silent caretakers of function, sustaining life in every moment. The cardiac muscle of the heart stands apart as the most tireless of all. Its cells are woven together in an intricate network that allows them to contract in perfect unison. Unlike skeletal muscles, the heart never rests. It alternates between contraction and relaxation, but the rhythm never ceases. This endurance is made possible by the abundance of mitochondria within cardiac cells, which supply a constant source of energy. The heart's contractions are initiated by specialized pacemaker cells that generate electrical impulses automatically, ensuring that the rhythm remains steady, adjusting only in response to the needs of the body. It is a marvel of self-regulation, a living pulse that keeps time with existence. Beyond movement and circulation, Muscles play an essential role in the expression of emotion. The small muscles of the face allow the subtlest of gestures, a raised brow, a smile, a frown to convey what words cannot. The muscles around the eyes soften when we feel compassion, tense with focus, or close gently in rest. These expressions are universal, shared across cultures and languages, born from the same patterns of muscular motion. Through them, the inner life of feeling takes visible form. In stillness, the muscular system continues its quiet work. As you lie resting, muscles adjust your position ever so slightly, relieving pressure, maintaining comfort, preventing stiffness. When you breathe, the diaphragm contracts and releases, guiding the air through your lungs. Even in sleep, muscles carry out their duties, some maintaining tone, while others surrender completely, allowing the body to restore and rebuild. The repair of muscle tissue is an ongoing process. Tiny fibers damaged during activity are mended and strengthened, preparing the body for the next movement, the next effort. The muscular system is a living testament to adaptability. It grows stronger with use, responding to challenges by increasing its capacity. When exercised gently and regularly, muscles remain supple and efficient. When neglected, they weaken and shorten, reminding us of the importance of motion. Movement is not simply physical. It is a form of communication between body and mind. It awakens circulation, clears the breath, steadies the heart, and quiets the thoughts. In this way, movement becomes a kind of meditation, an expression of the body's wisdom and its deep connection to the rhythms of life. As you breathe now, feel the subtle presence of your muscles at work, the steady expansion of the chest, the soft rise and fall of the abdomen, the faint tension in your hands as they rest. These sensations are reminders of the countless fibers working together in perfect harmony. The muscular system does not merely create motion, it sustains existence. It allows you to reach outward into the world, to act, to experience, and to return to stillness once more. In the end, the story of the muscles is one of quiet power and endless grace. Each contraction, each release, is an act of cooperation, guided by the same natural intelligence that keeps the heart beating and the breath flowing. The body, through its muscles, expresses life itself, a life that moves, rests, renews, and moves again. Within this rhythm lies the essence of being alive: motion in stillness, strength in softness, and an unbroken harmony that continues long after the conscious mind has drifted into sleep. 10. The skeletal system, framework of strength. Beneath the layers of muscle, tissue, and skin lies a structure of remarkable design, a framework that gives the body its shape, supports its movements, and protects its most delicate organs. The skeletal system, though often imagined as still and lifeless, is far from inert. It is a living architecture, constantly renewing itself, responsive to every motion and every change within the body. Without it, the human form would be soft and formless, unable to stand, walk, or reach. It is the quiet foundation of all movement and stability, the unseen geometry upon which life builds its strength and grace. The adult human skeleton contains 206 bones, though each began as soft cartilage in the developing embryo. Over time, through a process called ossification, this cartilage hardened into bone, forming the sturdy yet flexible structure that carries you now. Each bone, no matter how small, contributes to the body's balance and alignment. Together, they create an intricate lattice of support, strong enough to bear weight and impact, yet light enough to allow fluid movement. It is a masterpiece of engineering, evolved through millions of years to meet the delicate balance between strength and motion. Bones vary greatly in size and shape. The femur, the longest bone in the body, spans the thigh, supporting nearly all the body's weight when standing or walking. The tiny bones of the inner ear, by contrast, are smaller than a grain of rice, yet essential for hearing. Flat bones like the skull and ribs provide protection. Long bones, such as the arms and legs, create leverage for movement. Irregular bones, like those of the spine and pelvis, give structure and flexibility. Each bone has its place, each joint its purpose. Together they form a structure that is both sturdy and adaptable, capable of enduring life's constant motion. The skeletal system can be divided into two main regions: the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton forms the central column, the skull, spine, and rib cage, while the appendicular skeleton includes the limbs and the girdles that attach them to the trunk. The axial skeleton protects the body's vital organs and provides the anchor from which all motion begins. The skull safeguards the brain, the seat of consciousness. The rib cage shelters the heart and lungs, rising and falling with each breath. The spine, composed of 33 vertebrae, supports the body's posture while allowing flexibility and movement. Within this central structure lies the delicate balance between protection and mobility, stability, and freedom. The spine, in particular, is a marvel of natural design. It curves gently and in shape, absorbing shock and maintaining balance as you move. Each vertebra is separated by a cushion of cartilage known as an intervertebral disc, which provides flexibility and prevents friction. Inside the spine runs the spinal cord, a vital pathway of the nervous system, carrying messages between the brain and body. To protect it, the vertebrae form a bony tunnel, a sanctuary for the body's most essential communications. The spine is both shield and support, strong yet supple, bearing the body's weight while allowing it to bend and twist with effortless grace. Bone itself is a living tissue, constantly renewing and reshaping. Within its structure lies a complex network of cells that build, repair, and maintain strength. The outer layer, called compact bone, is dense and hard, giving bones their durability. Beneath it lies spongy bone, a latticework of tiny struts that absorb shock and reduce weight without sacrificing resilience. Within the hollow centers of many bones lies the bone marrow, a soft tissue responsible for producing blood cells. Red marrow creates red and white blood cells, while yellow marrow stores fat for energy. Thus, even the bones, so solid in appearance, are alive and active producers of the very blood that flows through your veins. The process of bone renewal is called remodeling, and it continues throughout life. Specialized cells known as osteoclasts break down old or damaged bone, while osteoblasts build new bone in its place. This constant cycle ensures that the skeleton remains strong, adaptable, and capable of healing. When a bone fractures, the body immediately begins the work of repair. Cells rush to the site, forming a temporary bridge of cartilage that is gradually replaced by new bone tissue. In time, the fracture heals completely, often becoming stronger than it was before. This ability to restore itself speaks to the quiet intelligence that governs every part of the body, a natural wisdom that ensures balance and continuity. Bones do not act alone. They rely on the support of joints, ligaments, and cartilage to move smoothly and safely. Joints are the meeting points between bones, designed to allow specific types of motion. Some, like the sutures of the skull, are immovable, providing protection and stability. Others, such as the ball and socket joints of the shoulders and hips, permit a wide range of movement. Hinge joints, like those of the elbows and knees, allow bending and straightening, while pivot joints enable rotation, as in the neck. Ligaments, strong bands of connective tissue, bind bones together, keeping joints aligned. Cartilage, smooth and resilient, cushions the ends of bones, reducing friction and absorbing shock. Together, these elements create motion that is fluid, coordinated, and precise. The skeleton is more than a structure of bones. It is also a guardian. The skull encases the brain. The ribs cradle the heart and lungs, and the vertebrae shelter the spinal cord. The pelvis protects the lower organs, while the bones of the limbs guard arteries, nerves, and tendons as they travel through the body. This protective function allows the softer, more delicate tissues to thrive in safety, ensuring that every heartbeat, breath, and thought can unfold without harm. Beyond its physical role, the skeleton holds a deeper symbolism. It is the frame upon which life takes shape, the silent partner to the living tissue that surrounds it. In its stillness, it carries memory, the record of growth, effort, and adaptation. The slight curves and markings of bone reveal a history of movement and experience. Every step taken, every muscle strengthened, every challenge endured leaves its quiet imprint. The skeleton is a witness to your life, carrying the story of how you have lived within its form. Though bones seem permanent, they too change with time. In youth, they are flexible and rich with blood, growing rapidly and healing quickly. In adulthood, they reach their peak strength. As the years pass, they gradually lose some of their mineral content, becoming lighter, more fragile, yet still faithful to their purpose. This softening is not decay, but transformation, a natural evolution that mirrors the body's journey from growth to rest, from strength to gentleness. Every movement you make depends on the interplay between bone and muscle. When muscles contract, they pull on bones, creating motion. Without the skeletal structure, movement would have no foundation. Without muscle, the bones would remain still. Together they form the instrument of motion, tuned perfectly by the nervous system, balanced by gravity, sustained by breath. In every gesture, the turn of a head, the lift of a hand, the simple act of standing, this partnership is expressed in silence and grace. To reflect on the skeletal system is to understand that strength need not be rigid. The bones, though firm, are designed for flexibility. The joints, though structured, allow freedom. The entire framework is built not as a cage, but as a living support, strong yet yielding, protective yet open. It is a reminder that true strength is not the absence of movement, but the ability to endure and adapt. As you rest now, your skeleton continues its quiet work. It supports you even in stillness, bearing its weight. Within each bone, cells are building and renewing. Marrow is forming blood. Calcium is being exchanged in a rhythm as steady as your heartbeat. This framework, so easily forgotten, is the silent companion of every breath, every step, every moment of being alive. If you could see it, glowing softly beneath your skin, you would find beauty in its symmetry and purpose. The arches of the ribs, like the curved beams of a cathedral, the spine rising like a column of strength, the skull a perfect vault for the mind. It is the architecture of life itself, enduring, harmonious, and endlessly alive. In its stillness lies motion, in its hardness lies tenderness, and in its strength lies the quiet assurance that the body, through all its changes, will always carry you forward with grace. 11. The immune system, the quiet guardians. Within your body exists a world of guardians, an unseen army that protects you day and night. The immune system is the silent defender of life, a vast network of cells, tissues, and molecules that work together to keep the body in balance. It is both vigilant and patient, constantly surveying every part of you for signs of disturbance. Its purpose is simple yet profound: to distinguish what belongs to you from what does not, to preserve the harmony of your inner world against all that might disrupt it. Though you rarely feel its presence, it is always there, a quiet force maintaining peace within the delicate ecosystem of your body. From the moment you are born, your immune system begins its lifelong task. At first, It relies on the protection passed from your mother, antibodies carried through the placenta, and later, through milk. Gradually, your own defenses awaken and learn, adapting to the countless challenges that life brings. Every breath you take carries not only oxygen, but countless particles from the environment, bacteria, viruses, and other tiny forms of life. The immune system meets them all with calm discernment, identifying what is harmless, what is helpful, and what must be removed. This constant dialogue between the body and the world is what keeps you alive and well. The immune system is not confined to one place. It flows throughout you, a network more intricate than any map could show. Its soldiers are the white blood cells, or leukocytes, which travel through the bloodstream and the lymphatic system, searching for signs of danger. There are many kinds of these cells, each with a distinct purpose. Some act as scouts, detecting intruders and sending signals to others. Some are warriors, attacking and engulfing harmful organisms. Others serve as memory keepers, remembering every encounter so the body can respond more swiftly next time. Together, they form a community of cooperation, each cell performing its task in perfect coordination with the rest. Among the first responders of this system are the phagocytes, a group of cells that patrol the body's tissues like gentle guardians. When they encounter something foreign, a virus, a bacterium, or a damaged cell, they engulf it, breaking it down safely inside themselves. This process is called phagocytosis, a simple yet elegant act of protection that occurs millions of times each day. Alongside them work the natural killer cells, which seek out and destroy cells that have been infected or altered. They are decisive and precise, removing threats before they can grow. These innate defenses form the body's first line of protection, always ready, always alert. But the immune system is not only reactive, it is deeply intelligent. Beyond the immediate response lies a more specialized form of defense, known as the adaptive immune system. This is where memory and learning come into play. When the body encounters a new invader, specialized cells called lymphocytes take notice. There are two main types, B cells and T cells. B cells produce antibodies, tiny proteins that bind to specific antigens on the surface of pathogens, marking them for destruction. Each antibody is a perfect match for a particular invader, fitting like a key into a lock. T cells, on the other hand, recognize infected cells and help coordinate the response, ensuring that every part of the immune system acts in harmony. When an infection is overcome, not all the immune cells retire. Some remain behind as memory cells, carrying a record of the encounter. Should the same invader appear again, these memory cells respond with astonishing speed and accuracy, often preventing illness entirely. This capacity for memory is the foundation of immunity, the reason why many diseases affect a person only once. It is also the principle behind vaccination, which safely introduces the body to a harmless form of a pathogen, allowing the immune system to learn and prepare without risk. In this way, the immune system demonstrates not only defense but wisdom, transforming experience into protection. The lymphatic system plays a central role in this network of defense. It is a series of vessels that parallel the bloodstream, carrying a clear fluid called lymph. This fluid collects waste products, foreign particles, and excess fluid from the tissues, filtering them through small structures called lymph nodes. Within these nodes, immune cells gather, communicate, and take action when necessary. You might notice them swelling slightly when you are ill, a sign that your immune system is working diligently. The spleen, another organ of defense, filters the blood directly, removing old red blood cells and trapping pathogens. The thymus, nestled behind the sternum, is where T cells mature and learn to recognize the body's own tissues, ensuring that they do not turn against it. Each part of this system contributes to the greater whole, forming an unbroken circle of vigilance. Despite its complexity, The immune system's work is quiet. It does not announce itself with sound or sensation, though its efforts may sometimes be felt. When you experience a fever, it is not an illness itself, but a sign that the immune system is raising the body's temperature to make it less hospitable to invaders. When inflammation occurs, it is the immune system directing blood and resources to an area in need of repair. Even fatigue during sickness has purpose. It signals the body to rest, conserving energy so that healing can proceed. These responses, though sometimes uncomfortable, are not mistakes. They are the language of recovery. The immune system also lives in balance with countless other forms of life inside you. In your intestines alone reside trillions of microorganisms, forming what is known as the gut microbiome. Far from being enemies, many of these microbes are allies, aiding digestion, producing vitamins, and training the immune system to respond appropriately. This relationship is one of delicate harmony. A well-balanced microbiome helps keep the immune system calm and discerning, preventing unnecessary reactions. When that balance is disturbed, the immune system can become confused, mistaking harmless substances or even the body's own tissues for threats. This confusion is what underlies allergic reactions and autoimmune diseases, where the guardians become overzealous in their protection. Yet even in such errors, the system's intent remains the same: to preserve life, to maintain order, to defend what is sacred within. Emotional well-being also touches the immune system, for the body and mind are inseparable. Prolonged stress can suppress immune function, leaving the body more vulnerable to illness. Calm, rest, and balanced nourishment, on the other hand, strengthen it. The gentle rhythm of breath, the peace of sleep, the warmth of human connection, all nourish immunity in their own way. It is a reminder that health is not only a physical condition, but a harmony of body, mind, and spirit. When you live in balance, the immune system mirrors that balance, protecting with quiet strength rather than urgency. As you rest now, your immune system continues its endless work. White blood cells drift through your bloodstream, pausing to inspect, to clean, to heal. Lymph flows gently through its vessels, carrying messages of protection. Within your bone marrow, new defenders are being formed, each one ready to take its place in the cycle of care. You do not feel their movements, yet they never cease. They are the unseen custodians of your well-being, maintaining peace within a world that is always in motion. If you could observe them, you would see a choreography of light and purpose, a dance of countless tiny beings, all devoted to the preservation of life. Their vigilance allows you to rest without fear, to breathe freely, to exist in calm awareness. The immune system does not fight for glory, it serves, in silence, restoring balance wherever it is disturbed. And in that silence lies the beauty of its work. It reminds us that protection does not always come with noise or force. Sometimes it is gentle, constant, and unseen, like the steady hum of life that continues within you, even now. 12. The integumentary system, the living barrier, all that you are contained within, all that separates your inner world from the outer, is a layer no thicker than a few millimeters. This delicate yet resilient covering is the integumentary system, composed primarily of the skin, along with the hair, nails, and the glands that live within it. It is at once protection and connection, boundary and bridge. The skin is the largest organ of the human body, a living surface that both guards and senses, that breathes, repairs, and renews itself continuously. It is the quiet interface between you and the world, a veil of life that endures the touch of wind, the warmth of sunlight, the brush of another hand, and the gentle pull of time. When you touch the surface of your skin, you are meeting the body's most remarkable guardian. It is flexible enough to stretch with motion, yet strong enough to resist tearing. It prevents water from escaping, shields the inner organs from injury, and protects against countless unseen invaders. Beneath its smooth surface lies a complex arrangement of cells, nerves, and vessels that work together in harmony. Each layer has its role, and though we often take it for granted, the skin is as vital to life as the heart or lungs. Without it, the delicate internal environment of the body could not remain balanced, for it is this barrier that maintains separation between what is within and what lies beyond. The skin is composed of three primary layers. The outermost, the epidermis, is a thin sheet of cells that renews itself constantly. At its base, new cells are born and begin their slow journey upward, flattening and hardening as they rise. By the time they reach the surface, they are lifeless, forming a protective layer of keratin that resists damage and prevents dehydration. These cells are gradually shed, replaced by new ones, in a cycle that takes about a month. This continuous renewal ensures that the skin remains strong and resilient, always adapting to its surroundings. Within the lower portion of the epidermis are melanocytes, specialized cells that produce melanin, the pigment that gives skin its color and protects it from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Melanin acts like a natural shield, absorbing radiation and preventing harm to the deeper tissues. Beneath the epidermis lies the dermis, a thicker and more intricate layer that provides structure and nourishment. It contains blood vessels, nerves, sweat glands, and hair follicles, all suspended within a flexible matrix of collagen and elastin fibers. These fibers give the skin both strength and elasticity, allowing it to move and recover with every gesture. Within the dermis also lie the sensory receptors that make touch possible. Some respond to pressure, others to temperature, still others to pain or vibration. Together, they form a vast network of communication, constantly sending information to the brain about the world around you. Through this system, you experience the texture of fabric, the warmth of sunlight, the softness of a breeze. The skin, therefore, is not merely protection. It is perception itself. The deepest layer, the hypodermis, anchors the skin to the underlying muscles and bones. It is composed mainly of fat and connective tissue, serving as insulation and cushioning. This layer helps regulate temperature, storing energy, and absorbing impact. It also provides a smooth transition between the living surface and the internal structure of the body. The hypodermis changes subtly throughout life, thickening or thinning with age, diet, and environment, but its purpose remains constant: to support and protect, to hold the body together with gentle resilience. Embedded within the skin are glands that keep it alive and functional. Sweat glands regulate temperature by releasing moisture that cools the surface as it evaporates. Sebaceous glands produce sebum, an oily substance that softens the skin and hair while creating a barrier against bacteria. These secretions maintain the skin's health, preventing dryness and infection. The delicate balance between oil and water, between heat and coolness, between renewal and shedding, is what allows the skin to remain supple and strong. Even at rest, this system is active, sweating, sensing, healing, adapting to every change in the environment. The skin's ability to heal is one of its most extraordinary features. When it is cut or damaged, cells near the wound begin to divide rapidly, closing the gap. Blood clotting prevents further loss of fluid, while white blood cells clear away debris. Gradually, new tissue forms, and the surface restores itself. Over time, even the mark of injury may fade, leaving only a trace of what was once broken. This regenerative power is a reflection of the body's larger rhythm of renewal, a quiet promise that healing is always possible. Beyond its physical functions, the skin plays a vital role in emotional and social life. It is through touch that humans first experience connection. The gentle contact of a parent's hand on a child's skin provides comfort and security. A hug, a handshake, a simple brush of fingers, These moments of contact communicate empathy, reassurance, and love. The skin is both a boundary and a bridge, capable of expressing emotion more clearly than words. When you blush, your blood vessels expand, coloring your cheeks in warmth. When you feel afraid, tiny muscles at the base of your hair follicles contract, raising the fine hairs on your skin. These involuntary responses are ancient echoes of survival, but they are also reminders of how deeply the body and the mind are intertwined. The hair and nails, though seemingly separate, are also part of this system. Hair grows from follicles deep in the dermis, nourished by tiny blood vessels. Each strand is composed of keratin, the same tough protein found in the outer skin. Hair helps regulate temperature, protects the scalp from sunlight, and serves as a sensory extension, detecting subtle movements in the air. Nails, formed of densely packed keratin, shield the fingertips and aid in delicate tasks. Like the skin, they reveal much about health and vitality, reflecting changes within the body that might otherwise go unseen. Throughout history, humans have decorated, painted, and cared for their skin and hair, expressing identity and belonging through this living canvas. Yet beneath every adornment, the skin remains faithful to its purpose, to protect, to sense, to renew. It does so quietly, without thought or effort, adapting to heat and cold, dryness and humidity, touch and pressure. It is both ancient and modern, a testament to the body's enduring wisdom. The skin also plays a subtle role in maintaining chemical balance. Through the process of sweating, it helps remove small amounts of waste, complementing the work of the kidneys. When sunlight touches the skin, it stimulates the production of vitamin D, essential for strong bones and a healthy immune system. In this way, the skin becomes a link between the body and the environment, transforming the light of the sun into nourishment. It is not only a boundary, it is also an organ of exchange, a living participant in the cycle of nature. As the years pass, the skin tells the story of time. It carries the traces of laughter and sunlight, the faint scars of healing, the softness of age. Its surface may change, but its essence does not. Beneath the lines and marks lies the same rhythm of renewal, the same living energy that has been there since birth. Every moment, new cells rise to the surface, old ones fall away, and the skin continues its work of protection and perception. Now, as you rest, your skin still listens to the world, the coolness of the air, the texture of the sheets, the gentle contact where your body meets its surroundings. Tiny nerves beneath the surface register these sensations and send them quietly to your mind, shaping your awareness even in stillness. The warmth you feel, the calm that spreads through you, are all part of this intricate system, doing what it has always done, connecting you, holding you, keeping you safe. The integumentary system is not simply a covering. It is the boundary that defines you and the bridge that unites you with the world. It absorbs, protects, and feels, reminding you that every touch, every breeze, every sensation is a dialogue between your inner and outer life. In its silence lies a profound truth that even the simplest act of being, the feeling of existing within your own skin, is itself a miracle of balance, resilience, and endless renewal. 13. The urinary system, cleansing and conservation. Deep within the body, in the quiet recesses behind the lower ribs, two organs work in patient rhythm, filtering the blood that passes through them moment by moment. These are the kidneys, bean-shaped, modest in size, yet responsible for one of the most vital functions in life: purification. The urinary system, which includes the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra, serves as the body's cleansing and conservation network. It removes what is no longer needed while preserving what is essential, In this way, it maintains the internal balance that allows every cell to live in harmony. Though it operates silently, it is as constant and reliable as the beating of the heart or the drawing of breath. Each day, your kidneys filter nearly 180 liters of blood plasma, yet only about 1 or 2 liters of urine are ultimately excreted. This means that almost everything taken from the blood is carefully examined, and most of it is returned. It is not a system of waste alone, but of exquisite selection, keeping what nourishes and releasing what no longer serves. The kidneys do this through millions of tiny structures, known as nephrons, each a self-contained filtering unit. Within these nephrons, the blood's composition is refined with precision, molecule by molecule. The process begins when blood enters the kidney through the renal artery, a vessel branching directly from the aorta. Once inside, it divides into smaller arterioles, and finally into the glomeruli, clusters of tiny capillaries surrounded by delicate capsules called Bowman's capsules. Here, filtration begins. Pressure forces water, salts, glucose, and small waste molecules out of the blood and into the capsule, while larger components such as proteins and blood cells remain behind. The result is a clear fluid known as filtrate, the raw beginning of urine. Yet this fluid is not yet waste. It contains many substances the body still needs, and so it moves onward through the nephron to be refined. As the filtrate travels along the renal tubules, the kidneys begin their careful work of reabsorption. Water, glucose, and vital ions are drawn back into the bloodstream, guided by both passive diffusion and active transport. Every moment, the body calculates what must be kept and what must be released. If water is scarce, more is reabsorbed. If salts are abundant, more are excreted. The kidneys respond to signals from hormones, aldosterone, antidiuretic hormone, and others that tell them how to adjust. Through this collaboration of chemistry and biology, the blood's volume and composition are maintained in perfect equilibrium. What remains after this process is urine, a solution of water, urea, salts, and trace wastes. It flows from each kidney through slender tubes called ureters, which carry it downward to the bladder. The ureters use a gentle wave-like motion, peristalsis, to guide the fluid along. The bladder itself is a hollow muscular sac that expands as it fills, its walls relaxing to hold the growing volume. When it is time to release, signals from the nervous system trigger the muscles to contract, allowing the urine to pass through the urethra and leave the body. This simple act completes a cycle that began hours earlier, closing the loop of cleansing and conservation. Though we rarely think of it, the urinary system is deeply connected to all others. The blood filtered by the kidneys carries the products of metabolism from every organ. The digestive system provides the nutrients that become part of the blood's chemistry. The respiratory system brings oxygen that sustains cellular processes. The circulatory system delivers it all to the kidneys for review. In this sense, the urinary system is not an isolated process but a final harmonizer, maintaining internal stability so that every other function may continue smoothly. The kidneys also play a vital role beyond filtration. They regulate blood pressure by controlling fluid balance and releasing hormones such as renin, which influences the constriction of blood vessels. They stimulate the production of red blood cells through erythropoietin, a hormone that signals the bone marrow to create more when oxygen levels fall. They also help regulate the balance of acids and bases within the blood, ensuring that the body's pH remains stable. This is a delicate equilibrium. Too much acidity or alkalinity can disrupt the enzymes that drive life's chemistry. The kidneys maintain that balance with quiet mastery, adjusting the excretion of hydrogen ions and bicarbonate to preserve harmony. The wisdom of this system lies in its adaptability. On a hot day, when the body loses water through sweat, the kidneys conserve fluid, producing concentrated urine. When water is plentiful, they allow more to pass, diluting the waste and maintaining hydration. When dietary intake shifts, they adapt accordingly, compensating for changes in salt, protein, and mineral levels. In a moment, they respond to the internal and external environment, fine-tuning the chemistry of life. Their work never ceases, even as you sleep. If the kidneys are the body's filters, the bladder is its vessel of release. The urge to urinate, though simple, represents one of the body's most elegant reflexes. Stretch receptors in the bladder wall send signals to the brain as the bladder fills. The decision to release is partly voluntary and partly automatic, a graceful cooperation between awareness and instinct. It is an example of how the body integrates control and surrender, holding and letting go in perfect rhythm. This balance mirrors the larger cycles of nature, where retention and release coexist as equal forces, like the tides that rise and fall, or the seasons that give and renew. The composition of urine tells the story of the body's inner state. Its clarity, color, and concentration reflect hydration. Ancient physicians observed this long before modern science confirmed it, understanding that the body's fluids mirror its internal balance. Even today, a simple analysis of urine can reveal much about the body's function: the presence of infection, the regulation of sugar, the efficiency of the kidneys themselves. In its quiet way, urine is a messenger, carrying information from the hidden world within to the surface, where it can be understood and cared for. The urinary system's ability to maintain balance extends beyond the physical. It reflects a principle that governs all life: the need to take in and to let go. Just as the kidneys release what is no longer needed, so too must the mind and heart. The act of cleansing, of releasing, is not merely biological but symbolic, a reminder that harmony depends on flow. Holding on to what must be released creates stagnation. Letting go restores clarity. The body knows this truth and practices it constantly, a model of wisdom that we, too, can follow in our lives. In the stillness of rest, your kidneys continue their work, filtering the blood that moves quietly through your veins. Each drop passes through their intricate structures, purified and renewed before returning to circulation. The bladder fills and empties in its own natural rhythm, unnoticed but essential. These organs do not demand attention. They perform their tasks with silent devotion, ensuring that every other system may operate in peace. If you could see inside, you would find not machinery but a landscape alive, with motion blood flowing through delicate vessels, molecules exchanging places, cells responding to chemical whispers. It is a place of calm order, where every process serves the same purpose: balance. The urinary system embodies the art of equilibrium. It teaches, without words, that cleanliness is not the absence of imperfection, but the presence of continual flow. As you lie in quiet, your body continues this endless cycle of release and restoration. The kidneys, patient and precise, remove what is unnecessary and return what is vital. The bladder holds and releases in gentle rhythm. Through these silent acts, your body remains pure, your inner waters clear, your balance preserved. The urinary system is not simply a means of elimination. It is the keeper of harmony, the caretaker of inner peace, a quiet river flowing through you, cleansing, conserving, and sustaining the miracle of life. 14. The reproductive system. Continuity of life. All life, in its many forms and expressions, carries within it the quiet impulse to continue. From the smallest organism to the complexity of humankind, there exists an unbroken thread of renewal, an ancient rhythm through which existence persists. The human reproductive system is the keeper of that rhythm, a network of organs and processes designed not for constant activity, but for potential. It is the system that holds the promise of new life, linking generations together through the passage of time, while the heart sustains the individual. the reproductive system sustains the species, ensuring that the story of humanity never reaches an end. The reproductive system is unique among the body's systems because it is not essential for personal survival, and yet it is essential for the continuation of life itself. It is a system of creation, preparation, and renewal. In both the male and female body, it serves the same fundamental purpose: to produce, nurture, and protect the cells that can bring about new life. Though distinct in form, the two systems are complementary, designed to come together in perfect cooperation. Every structure, every hormone, every cycle exists to create the possibility of growth, continuity, and connection. In the male body, the primary organs of reproduction are the testes, housed in the scrotum outside the main cavity of the body. This placement is not accidental. The temperature required for the production of sperm is slightly lower than the body's core, and this external positioning ensures that delicate balance. Within the testes, millions of sperm cells are produced daily in coiled structures called seminiferous tubules. These cells begin as undifferentiated precursors and gradually mature, gaining the ability to move and carry genetic information. It is an act of constant renewal, an endless preparation for a moment that may never come, yet one that nature sustains with devotion. Each sperm cell is a tiny vessel of potential, carrying within it half of the genetic blueprint needed to form a new being. It consists of a head, where the DNA is stored, a midsection packed with mitochondria that provide energy, and a long tail, or flagellum, that propels it forward. Once formed, sperm travel through a series of ducts and chambers: the epididymis, where they mature and are stored; the vas deferens, which transports them; and finally, the urethra, through which they are released. Along this path, glands such as the seminal vesicles and prostate add fluid that nourishes and protects the sperm, forming the substance known as semen. Each element serves a purpose, ensuring that life's potential is preserved and carried safely. In the female body, the organs of reproduction are arranged deep within the pelvis, protected and supported by surrounding structures. The ovaries, small and almond-shaped, contain thousands of follicles, tiny chambers, each holding an immature egg cell. Unlike sperm, which are produced continuously, the number of eggs is fixed before birth, gradually maturing over the course of a lifetime. With each menstrual cycle, one egg ripens and is released in a process called ovulation. It travels through the fallopian tube, where fertilization may occur if it meets a sperm cell. This journey is guided by subtle waves of movement within the tube, drawing the egg gently toward the uterus, the organ prepared to receive it. The uterus, a hollow muscular chamber, is the cradle of potential life. Its walls thicken each month under the influence of hormones, ready to nourish a developing embryo should fertilization occur. If no fertilization takes place, the lining is shed in the natural rhythm of menstruation, and the cycle begins anew. This monthly pattern of preparation and renewal mirrors the cycles of the moon and the tides, a reflection of nature's balance between creation and release. It is a rhythm deeply connected to the passage of time and the flow of life itself. Fertilization is a moment of profound simplicity and immense significance. When a single sperm cell meets an egg, their genetic materials combine to form a new cell, a zygote. Within this single cell lies the complete blueprint for a new human being, a fusion of two lineages, two histories, two strands of existence woven into one. The zygote begins dividing almost immediately, traveling down the fallopian tube toward the uterus, where it will implant in the prepared lining. From this point onward, the process of development unfolds with quiet precision, guided by the same natural intelligence that sustains every system of the body. As the embryo grows, it draws nourishment from the mother through a temporary organ called the placenta, which connects to the developing fetus by the umbilical cord. This lifeline carries oxygen and nutrients while removing waste, maintaining perfect equilibrium between two beings. Within the mother's body, blood flows not only for her own life but also for the life that is forming within. The uterus expands to accommodate growth, its muscles strengthening in preparation for birth. Hormones orchestrate every stage, from implantation to labor, ensuring that the process proceeds with balance and care. When the time comes for birth, the uterus contracts rhythmically, guiding the new being into the world. It is the culmination of the body's most profound act of cooperation. The muscles, hormones, and nervous system work together with grace, following patterns that have existed for millennia. The moment of birth marks both an ending and a beginning, the completion of one cycle and the start of another. The newborn takes its first breath, and the continuity of life is affirmed once again. After birth, the female body continues its role of nourishment through lactation. The mammary glands, which have been preparing quietly throughout pregnancy, now produce milk, a complete source of nutrition for the infant. This process, like all others, is guided by hormones. Prolactin stimulates milk production, while oxytocin, the same hormone that facilitated birth, triggers the gentle release of milk and fosters emotional bonding between mother and child. It is a cycle of giving and renewal, an extension of the same creative force that brought life into being. The reproductive system's rhythms are guided largely by hormones, the messengers of the endocrine system. In males, testosterone governs the production of sperm, the development of muscle and bone, and the expression of secondary traits such as facial hair and voice depth. In females, estrogen and progesterone regulate the menstrual cycle, prepare the body for pregnancy, and influence mood and energy. These hormones also interact with the rest of the body, linking reproduction with overall health. They remind us that creation is not isolated from daily existence. It is woven into every aspect of being. The capacity for reproduction also carries symbolic meaning beyond its biological function. It is the body's expression of continuity, of participation in something larger than the self. Even for those who do not create new life directly, the reproductive system is a reminder of connection, the shared inheritance of humanity, the bond between past and future. It is the biological reflection of creativity itself, for creation, in all its forms, is the essence of life. In time, the reproductive system changes, as all systems do. Hormonal levels shift, fertility declines. Cycles that once marked the passage of months come to a close. In women, this transition is known as menopause, a natural transformation that signifies the completion of the reproductive years. It is not an ending, but a new balance, a shift in focus from creation of life to preservation of wisdom. In men, too, hormone levels gradually decrease, bringing subtle changes in energy and rhythm. Through these transformations, the body adapts once again, continuing its quiet pursuit of equilibrium. Even in stillness, the reproductive system remains alive with purpose. In every cell, the blueprint of life endures, waiting to be shared, continued, or simply remembered. It connects each person to a lineage that stretches back through countless generations, through every mother and father, every birth and every beginning. As you rest, you carry within you the story of life itself, the same story written into the cells of all living things. Whether in potential or in memory, the reproductive system holds that story gently, preserving the thread of continuity that ties the present to the past and the future. It is the keeper of renewal, the quiet embodiment of creation, and the reminder that even as the body changes and ages, the essence of life continues flowing forward, unbroken, eternal. 15. The nervous system, the symphony of awareness. At the center of all human experience lies a network of astonishing complexity and grace. The nervous system, it is the body's messenger, conductor, and interpreter, weaving together every sensation, movement, and thought into the seamless fabric of consciousness. Through it, you sense the world, respond to it, and imagine beyond it. It is through this quiet system that you feel the warmth of the sun, the rhythm of your heartbeat, and the calm that arises as you drift toward sleep. The nervous system does not rest. Even in your deepest dreams, it continues its subtle work, maintaining balance, preserving awareness, and connecting the body to the infinite landscape of the mind. The nervous system is composed of two great divisions: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord, the command center, and the main highway of communication. The peripheral system extends outward like the roots of a tree, branching into countless nerves that reach every part of the body. Together, they form a single living network, transmitting information at extraordinary speed. Every flicker of sensation, every heartbeat, every word you think begins as an electrical impulse traveling through this vast circuitry. Within this network are the neurons, the fundamental cells of communication. Each neuron is a masterpiece of design, shaped for connection. It has a cell body that holds the nucleus, branching dendrites that receive signals, and a long axon that sends them onward. Neurons do not touch directly. Instead, they communicate across tiny gaps called synapses. When an electrical impulse reaches a synapse, it triggers the release of chemical messengers known as neurotransmitters. These molecules cross the gap, bind to receptors on the next cell, and create a new electrical signal. In this way, a message can travel from one neuron to another, from the brain to the muscles, or from the skin to the mind, forming a continuous dialogue within the body. This language of the nervous system is both electrical and chemical, precise and flexible. In one moment, billions of signals are moving through your brain and nerves, yet they do so with perfect coordination. The system operates through balance, excitation, and inhibition, speed and rest, awareness and sleep. When you move your hand, neurons in the motor cortex send signals down through the spinal cord, activating muscles. When you touch something, sensory neurons send signals back, allowing you to feel texture, pressure, and temperature. These messages move faster than thought, allowing you to react before awareness even catches up. The nervous system is not only intelligent, it is intuitive, responding to the world with a wisdom that precedes conscious decision. At the heart of this system is the brain, an organ of breathtaking intricacy. Though it weighs little more than 1.5 kilograms, it contains nearly 100 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others. Its surface, folded into countless ridges and grooves, increases the area available for thought and coordination. Within its structure, different regions perform distinct yet interconnected tasks. The cerebrum, the largest part, governs thought, memory, and voluntary motion. The cerebellum, nestled beneath, refines coordination and balance. The brainstem, ancient and essential, maintains the rhythms of life, breathing, heart rate, and sleep. These regions work together like instruments in a symphony, creating the harmony of existence. The brain communicates with the rest of the body through the spinal cord, a long, delicate column of nerve tissue protected by the vertebrae. The spinal cord serves as a bridge, carrying messages between the brain and the peripheral nerves. Along its length, pairs of nerves branch outward, each serving a specific region. These nerves divide again and again until they reach the smallest fibers, connecting with muscles, organs, and skin. This design ensures that no part of the body is without connection. Every cell is touched, guided, and informed by the nervous system's quiet influence. Among the peripheral nerves, there are two distinct pathways, the somatic and the autonomic. The somatic nerves control voluntary actions, such as movement and speech. They allow you to reach for an object, to walk, to write, to create. The autonomic nerves, by contrast, govern the involuntary processes of life, the beating of the heart, the dilation of the pupils, the secretion of glands. Within the autonomic system lie two opposing yet harmonious forces, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic divisions. The sympathetic system prepares the body for action, quickening the heart and sharpening the senses. The parasympathetic system restores calm, slowing the heart and deepening the breath. Together, they form the body's rhythm of tension and release, effort and rest. This balance between activity and tranquility mirrors the greater balance of nature. Just as the tides rise and fall, the nervous system shifts between alertness and repose. When you face challenge or excitement, it heightens your senses and quickens your reactions. When danger passes, it soothes you back into stillness. This constant adjustment allows the body to remain in harmony with its surroundings. It is why your heart rate slows when you take a deep breath, and why your muscles relax as you drift toward sleep. The nervous system listens to your experiences and responds in kind, maintaining equilibrium even in moments of change. The nervous system is also the seat of memory, imagination, and thought. Within the intricate circuits of the brain, every experience leaves a trace, patterns of connection strengthened or altered by repetition and emotion. The hippocampus, deep within the brain, plays a key role in forming memories, transferring fleeting moments into lasting impressions. The prefrontal cortex, at the front of the brain, enables planning, reasoning, and self-awareness. The limbic system, rich in emotion, colors each thought with feeling, giving meaning to what might otherwise be only perception. These regions work not as separate parts, but as a unified field of consciousness, transforming the signals of the body into the experiences of the mind. Even in sleep, the nervous system continues its quiet activity. The brain cycles through patterns of deep rest and vivid dreaming, consolidating memory, repairing tissue, and restoring energy. The body may be still, but the mind remains alive, weaving fragments of experience into the gentle fabric of dreams. During this time, the nervous system resets itself, balancing activity and rest so that consciousness may awaken renewed. This nightly renewal is essential, for it allows the system to maintain clarity and resilience in waking life. Every sensation you experience is a gift of this system: the feeling of warmth, the sound of a voice, the sight of a distant horizon. Through the sensory nerves, the brain interprets light as color, vibration as sound, contact as texture. These perceptions are not merely data. They are transformed by the mind into meaning, emotion, and understanding. The nervous system turns the physical world into awareness, allowing you to know yourself and your surroundings. It is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. Yet, for all its complexity, the nervous system is profoundly delicate. Its tissues are soft, its balance precise. It depends on a steady flow of oxygen, glucose, and rest. Interruption, lack of sleep, dehydration, or stress can alter its rhythm, and still, it endures, adapting and healing as it can. The brain's capacity for change, known as neuroplasticity, allows it to form new connections throughout life. This means that learning, recovery, and growth are always possible, no matter the age or circumstance. Within the nervous system lies the potential for renewal, not only of thought, but of being. As you rest now, the nervous system continues its work in silence. Signals travel gently through your body, maintaining breath, guiding the heartbeat, balancing temperature and tone. Neurons fire softly, carrying the rhythm of thought, even as consciousness fades. The mind drifts, yet the body remains alive with communication, a symphony playing beneath awareness. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear that symphony, the whisper of impulses passing from one cell to another, the subtle harmony of order and flow. It is the music of life itself, composed not of sound but of sensation and meaning. The nervous system is not only a network of cells, it is the foundation of experience, the place where the physical becomes the mindful, where the self emerges from the body's quiet conversation. In its unending work, the nervous system reminds us of unity. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought arises from its coordination. It is the still conductor beneath the orchestra of existence, keeping time with life's rhythm. And as it rests tonight, maintaining your peace and your awareness, it continues its eternal task to connect, to balance, and to awaken softly into the infinite harmony of being alive. 16. The endocrine system, the silent messengers. Within the vast landscape of the human body, communication happens in countless ways. The nervous system speaks in flashes of electricity, sending messages that travel almost instantly. The circulatory system carries nutrients and gases through its flowing rivers of blood. Yet there is another form of communication, slower, deeper, more enduring. It is the language of the endocrine system, a network of glands that send their messages not through nerves, but through the bloodstream, using chemical messengers known as hormones. These messengers move silently through the body, guiding growth, metabolism, emotion, and balance. They shape the rhythm of your life, from the energy of morning to the calm of rest, from childhood's growth to the stillness of age. The endocrine system is composed of several glands distributed throughout the body, each with its own unique function, yet all connected in harmony. The major glands include the pituitary, thyroid, parathyroids, adrenal glands, pancreas, pineal gland, and the reproductive glands, the ovaries and testes. Together, they form a network that touches every cell, every organ, every process of life. Unlike the nervous system, which acts in moments, the endocrine system governs through time. Its effects unfold gradually, shaping the body's long-term patterns and maintaining internal balance, even as the world outside changes. At the heart of this system lies the pituitary gland, often called the master gland. It sits at the base of the brain, no larger than a small bean, yet it directs the function of nearly all other glands. Under the influence of the hypothalamus, a region of the brain that monitors the body's state, the pituitary releases hormones that control growth, reproduction, metabolism, and stress responses. Growth hormone guides the development of tissues and bones, especially in childhood. Other hormones influence the thyroid, the adrenal glands, and the reproductive organs, ensuring that all work together in harmony. The pituitary is like a conductor, responding to the body's needs and signaling other glands to act in turn, maintaining the music of balance. The thyroid gland, shaped like a butterfly and located in the neck, plays a vital role in controlling metabolism. It releases hormones that determine how quickly or slowly the body uses energy. When thyroid hormones are in balance, the body's temperature, heart rate, and energy levels remain steady. Too much, and the metabolism races, causing restlessness and heat. Too little, and the system slows, leading to fatigue and coldness. The thyroid listens carefully to signals from the pituitary and adjusts its output to maintain equilibrium. This partnership between glands exemplifies the endocrine system's wisdom, a constant, gentle communication between all parts, ensuring that no single process runs too fast or too slow. Behind the thyroid are the small parathyroid glands, no larger than grains of rice, yet essential for maintaining calcium balance in the body. Calcium is not only needed for bones and teeth, but also for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and blood clotting. The parathyroid sense when calcium levels fall and release a hormone that draws calcium from storage in the bones, raises its absorption from food, and preserves it in the blood. When levels rise again, they quiet their activity. This cycle of sensing and response occurs with quiet precision, a reminder that even the smallest organs carry immense responsibility. Perched atop the kidneys are the adrenal glands, small but powerful structures that prepare the body to face challenge and change. The outer layer, called the adrenal cortex, produces hormones such as cortisol and aldosterone. Cortisol helps the body respond to stress, mobilizing energy and modulating inflammation. Aldosterone maintains the balance of salt and water, regulating blood pressure. The inner core, the adrenal medulla, releases adrenaline and noradrenaline hormones that heighten alertness, quicken the heartbeat, and sharpen the senses. Together, these hormones form the body's response to both danger and demand. Yet, like all things, they must return to stillness. When the moment passes, the adrenal glands ease their activity, allowing calm to return. This balance between readiness and rest sustains both strength and peace. Another essential organ of the endocrine system is the pancreas, which serves a dual role in both digestion and hormonal regulation. Scattered within it are clusters of cells known as the islets of Langerhans. These cells produce insulin and glucagon, two hormones that regulate blood sugar. Insulin lowers glucose levels by guiding sugar into the body's cells, where it is used for energy or stored for later use. Glucagon does the opposite, raising blood sugar when levels fall too low. Together, they form a perfect cycle of give and take, ensuring that the brain and muscles always have the fuel they need. The stability of blood sugar is crucial for life. Too much or too little can disrupt the body's balance, affecting every system. The pancreas, in its quiet efficiency, guards this balance faithfully, responding moment by moment to the body's needs. Within the brain lies another small but remarkable gland, the pineal gland. Nestled deep in the center of the brain, it responds to light and darkness, secreting a hormone called melatonin. This hormone governs the sleep-wake cycle, rising in the evening to encourage rest and falling in the morning as daylight returns. Through melatonin, the pineal gland aligns the body with the rhythm of the earth itself, the alternation of day and night, activity and rest. Its influence extends beyond sleep. It shapes mood, immune function, and even the perception of time. This small gland reminds us that our bodies are not separate from nature, but move in harmony with its cycles. The reproductive glands, too, play a vital role in the endocrine system. The ovaries in females and the testes in males produce not only the cells required for reproduction, but also the hormones that shape the characteristics of adulthood. Estrogen and progesterone guide the menstrual cycle, influence the development of secondary traits, and prepare the body for the potential of new life. Testosterone, in both men and women, supports muscle growth, bone density, and vitality. These hormones also influence emotion, motivation, and well-being, linking physical health with mental and emotional balance. They are reminders that reproduction and creativity, though often associated with youth, are expressions of the same universal force, the drive to create, to connect, and to continue the flow of life. The endocrine system's beauty lies in its subtlety. Hormones are released in minute quantities, measured in fractions of a drop, yet their effects ripple through the entire body. Their messages travel through the bloodstream, touching distant organs that respond as though they had been waiting for the signal all along. This communication is slower than that of nerves, but more enduring. Where the nervous system acts like a spark, the endocrine system is like a tide, gentle, pervasive, and continuous. It shapes not just moments, but moods, growth, and the passage of time. When the endocrine system is in harmony, the body feels balanced and whole. Energy flows easily. Emotions find their rhythm. When it is out of balance, The effects can be felt everywhere through fatigue, restlessness, or changes in mood. Stress, sleep, diet, and environment all influence this balance, as the endocrine system is sensitive to the world around it. Even thoughts and emotions can shift hormone levels, revealing how deeply the mind and body are intertwined. The hormones of calm and connection like oxytocin and serotonin arise in moments of peace, affection, or gratitude. Those of alertness and defense, like cortisol and adrenaline, rise in challenge or fear. Together, they create the dynamic equilibrium of life, adapting to every circumstance. As you lie in stillness, your endocrine system continues its work with quiet patience. The thyroid adjusts the flow of energy. The adrenals rest after the day's demands. The pancreas balances your blood sugar. The pineal gland begins to release melatonin, inviting sleep. The body prepares for restoration, guided by signals that move invisibly through the blood. You do not feel their passage, yet they shape the rhythm of your night and the freshness of your morning to come. The endocrine system is a silent orchestra of chemistry, playing the song of life in slow, deliberate tones. Each gland adds its note, some bright, some deep, all in balance. Together, they compose the music of being, a melody that accompanies you through every stage of life. It is through their harmony that you grow, adapt, rest, and awaken. And even as you drift into sleep, the endocrine system continues its song steady, unhurried, and full of grace, reminding you that within the silence of the body, life still speaks in whispers. 17. The sensory systems, windows of perception. Through the soft veil of your senses, the world enters you. Every sound, every color, every scent and touch is translated into patterns of meaning that shape your experience of life. The sensory systems are the body's gateways to awareness, the delicate instruments that connect your inner world to the outer one. They allow you to see the shimmer of light upon water, to hear the wind moving through leaves, to feel warmth against your skin, to taste the sweetness of fruit, and to smell the earth after rain. Each sensation is a form of communication between your body and the environment, a reminder that you are not separate from the world, but part of it, woven into its light, sound, and motion. The sensory systems include sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, 5 classical senses, though the body perceives far more than these alone. Balance, temperature, pain, and the awareness of position and movement all arise from subtle receptors that constantly monitor your state and surroundings. Together, these systems create the seamless flow of perception, allowing you to navigate, to learn, and to feel. They are the body's storytellers, translating the physical energy of the world, light, vibration, molecules, and pressure into the language of the mind. Of all the senses, vision often feels the most dominant. The eyes are intricate instruments, shaped like small spheres, each filled with clear fluid that maintains their form and nourishes their delicate tissues. At the front, the cornea bends incoming light, focusing it through the pupil, a dark, round opening that expands and contracts to regulate brightness. Behind the pupil lies the lens, which adjusts its curvature to bring objects into focus, whether near or far. The light then passes to the retina, a thin layer of cells lining the back of the eye. There, 2 types of photoreceptor cells, rods and cones, translate light into electrical signals. Rods are highly sensitive and allow vision in dim light, though they perceive only shades of gray. Cones, by contrast, require brighter illumination and are responsible for color vision. There are 3 kinds of cones, each tuned to red, green, or blue wavelengths. From the blending of these signals arises the full spectrum of color that paints the world before you. These electrical messages travel through the optic nerve to the brain, where they are interpreted in the visual cortex. What you see is not the light itself, but the mind's translation of light, a living image composed of memory, expectation, and awareness. Even with your eyes closed, fragments of this visual world remain, flickering softly in the imagination. The sense of hearing transforms invisible vibrations into sound. The ear, though small, is a marvel of precision. Sound waves enter through the outer ear and travel down the ear canal to strike the eardrum, setting it into motion. Behind it lie 3 tiny bones, the malleus, incus, and stapes, the smallest bones in the human body. These bones amplify the vibrations and transmit them to the inner ear, where they reach the cochlea, a spiral-shaped chamber filled with fluid. Inside the cochlea, thousands of hair cells bend in response to the fluid's motion, converting vibration into electrical signals. Each group of cells responds to a specific frequency, from the deep resonance of thunder to the high whisper of a breeze. These signals travel along the auditory nerve to the brain, where they are recognized as sound, speech, music, laughter, silence. Hearing is more than the detection of vibration. It is the sense of rhythm and time. Through sound, you perceive motion and distance, direction and emotion. The cadence of a voice can convey meaning beyond words, and a single melody can awaken memories long forgotten. The inner ear also contains the vestibular system, which governs balance and spatial orientation. Tiny crystals and fluid-filled canals detect movement and position, allowing you to stand, walk, and move gracefully through the world, even with your eyes closed. This system tells you where you are, anchoring your body within the quiet geometry of space. Taste and smell are intimately connected, forming a single tapestry of flavor and scent. Taste begins on the tongue, where thousands of tiny buds house specialized receptor cells. These cells detect 5 primary sensations: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, the savory taste of amino acids. When food touches the tongue, these receptors send signals to the brain, which blends them with information from the nose to create the full experience of flavor. Smell, meanwhile, is the most ancient of the senses, directly linked to emotion and memory. In the upper part of the nasal cavity lies the olfactory epithelium, a patch of tissue lined with sensory neurons. When molecules from the air dissolve in the mucus that coats this tissue, they bind to receptors on the neurons, triggering electrical signals. These signals travel to the olfactory bulb, just above the nasal cavity, and from there to the brain's limbic system, the center of memory and feeling. Because of this connection, a single scent can transport you instantly through time, awakening emotions long asleep. The smell of rain may recall childhood. The scent of a flower may evoke comfort or longing. Through smell, memory breathes again. Touch, though often overlooked, is perhaps the most fundamental sense of all. It is the first to develop in the womb and the last to fade in old age. Through it, the body learns the shape of the world and its own boundaries. The skin, the body's largest organ, is filled with receptors that detect pressure, texture, temperature, and pain. Some respond to the lightest brush of air, others to the firmness of contact. When you touch something warm, receptors send signals to the brain that are interpreted as heat. When you feel something sharp, other receptors warn of pain, prompting protection. But touch is not only a matter of safety, it is also a language of connection. A gentle hand on the shoulder, the warmth of an embrace, the softness of fabric all carry meaning that words cannot express. Through touch, we learn trust, comfort, and belonging. Beyond the 5 traditional senses, the body possesses others that operate quietly beneath awareness. Proprioception, the sense of position, allows you to know where your limbs are without looking. Thermoception detects warmth and cold, guiding the body's responses to maintain balance. Nociception alerts you to injury, prompting care and healing. Together, These internal senses sustain the body's awareness of itself, allowing seamless coordination between movement, balance, and environment. Each sensory system works independently, yet none stands alone. They blend together, forming the continuous experience of perception. When you eat, you see the color of food, smell its aroma, feel its texture, and taste its flavor all at once. When you walk outdoors, you hear the sound of your steps, feel the breeze on your face, the temperature of the air. The brain integrates these signals effortlessly, creating the illusion of a single, unified world. It is not a perfect reflection of reality, but a living interpretation, one shaped by the body, the mind, and the spirit. The senses also respond to emotion and attention. When you are calm, perception softens. Colors seem gentler, sounds more distant. When you are alert, senses sharpen, gathering detail from every corner. The mind filters and prioritizes what is noticed, allowing some sensations to rise to awareness while others fade into the background. This selective perception allows you to focus, yet it also reminds you that the world around you is always more than you can perceive at once. Beneath the edge of awareness, the senses continue their work, observing quietly, maintaining your connection to life. In the silence of night, your senses rest but do not sleep. The eyes close, yet faint light still touches the retina. The ears remain open, attuned to the rhythm of breath and heartbeat. The skin continues to feel the warmth of blankets, the softness of air. Even in dreams, the brain draws upon the memory of sensation, creating worlds of light and sound that exist only within. The sensory systems are faithful companions, keeping you tethered to both the outer and inner worlds, bridging the seen and unseen. As you rest now, you may notice how these senses fade into quiet balance. The eyes grow heavy, the sounds of the world soften, the skin relaxes into stillness. Beneath that stillness, the sensory systems remain awake, maintaining awareness enough to keep you safe, yet gentle enough to let you drift into calm. They will awaken again with the light, opening once more to the colors, textures, and harmonies of the day. The sensory systems remind us that perception is not passive, it is an active participation. Through them, you do not simply observe the world, you complete it. Every image, every sound, every touch becomes real only when you receive it, and in that reception lies connection, the quiet realization that the world and the self are not separate, but reflections of one continuous experience. The senses are the windows through which life looks back at itself, perceiving, feeling, and forever becoming aware. 18. The lymphatic system, the river of renewal. Within the silent architecture of the human body flows a hidden river, gentle yet unceasing. It does not carry blood or air, but something quieter, a clear fluid that sustains, cleanses, and restores. This river is the lymphatic system, the body's silent companion to the circulatory system. It moves beneath the surface, collecting excess fluid from the tissues, filtering impurities, and returning balance to every part of you. Though it rarely draws attention, the lymphatic system is vital to life's continuity. It is the stream of renewal that keeps the inner landscape pure, the quiet current that maintains health and harmony. Every day, blood delivers oxygen and nutrients to the body's cells through the tiniest vessels, the capillaries. Yet as it does so, some of this plasma seeps out into the surrounding tissues, carrying with it oxygen, glucose, and proteins. This fluid bathes the cells, allowing exchange, and then must be gathered and returned. Without a means to collect it, the body would swell and stagnate, heavy with unreturned waters. The lymphatic system performs this task with patience and precision. Its network of thin-walled vessels, called lymphatic capillaries, absorbs this interstitial fluid, now called lymph, and carries it on a slow journey back to the heart. Lymphatic vessels are found throughout the body, tracing paths parallel to the blood vessels. They begin as open-ended capillaries that draw in excess fluid from the tissues. As they merge into larger channels, they form a vast network that winds through the muscles and organs. Unlike the circulatory system, which is powered by the heart, the lymphatic system has no central pump. Instead, it relies on the rhythmic contraction of surrounding muscles, the pulsing of arteries, and the natural movement of the body to propel the lymph forward. Every breath, every stretch, every motion helps to keep this invisible river flowing. Along its path, the lymph passes through small, oval-shaped structures known as lymph nodes. These nodes are the guardians of the system, tiny filters that trap impurities, foreign particles, and microorganisms. Inside, specialized immune cells known as lymphocytes and macrophages work together to identify and neutralize any potential threats. When the body faces infection, the lymph nodes become active, producing more immune cells and sometimes swelling slightly as they perform their duty. This is the body's quiet defense in motion, the unseen collaboration between cleansing and protection. The lymphatic system and the immune system are deeply intertwined, two aspects of one continuous process. The lymph carries not only fluid but also white blood cells, antibodies, and antigens, the information and materials of immunity. As lymph travels through the nodes, it acts as a messenger, allowing immune cells to communicate and coordinate. In this way, the lymphatic system serves as both highway and meeting place for the body's defenses. It allows the immune system to survey the entire internal landscape, detecting imbalance and responding before harm can spread. From the lymph nodes, the fluid continues through larger vessels, eventually converging into two main channels: the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. The right lymphatic duct drains lymph from the upper right quadrant of the body, the right arm, chest, and side of the head, and empties it into a vein near the heart. The thoracic duct, much larger, collects lymph from the rest of the body and delivers it to the same destination. There, the lymph rejoins the bloodstream, completing its circuit. Through this constant movement, the body maintains fluid balance, ensuring that no area is left heavy with stagnation or starved of flow. In addition to its cleansing function, the lymphatic system plays an essential role in nourishment. Within the small intestine are structures called lacteals, specialized lymphatic capillaries that absorb fats and fat-soluble vitamins from digested food. These nutrients enter the lymph as tiny droplets, forming a milky fluid known as chyle. The lymphatic vessels transport this nourishment through the thoracic duct and into the bloodstream, where it becomes part of the body's energy supply. Thus, the lymphatic system connects digestion to circulation, transforming the essence of food into the energy that sustains life. Several organs support the work of the lymphatic system, each contributing to its quiet guardianship. The spleen, located beneath the ribs on the left side of the abdomen, is both a filter and a reservoir for blood. It removes old or damaged red blood cells, recycles iron, and stores white blood cells ready to respond when needed. It also produces lymphocytes, adding strength to the immune system. The thymus, located behind the sternum, is where certain lymphocytes, T cells, mature and learn to distinguish the body's own tissues from foreign invaders. In childhood, the thymus is large and active, training the immune system in recognition and tolerance. As we age, it shrinks, but its teachings remain, carried forward by the cells it has prepared. Throughout the body, clusters of lymphoid tissue stand guard at the gateways where the outside world meets the inner body. The tonsils at the back of the throat, the adenoids behind the nasal passages, and the Peyer's patches within the intestines all form part of this quiet defense. They sample the air we breathe, the food we swallow, and the substances that pass through, ensuring that only what belongs continues inward. These outposts of the lymphatic system are the body's first line of awareness, gentle sentinels watching over every entrance. The flow of lymph is slow and deliberate, moving only as the body moves. This is why gentle motion, walking, stretching, breathing deeply supports its function. When the body is still for long periods, lymph flow can diminish, leading to stagnation. Yet even in sleep, small contractions of muscle and the beat of the heart help it continue. The body never truly ceases its movement. Its inner rivers flow on, even in stillness. The rhythm of this flow mirrors the rhythm of life itself, a continual circulation of giving and release, of cleansing and renewal. When the lymphatic system falters, fluid may accumulate in the tissues, causing swelling known as edema. The body becomes heavy, burdened by what it cannot yet release. But with motion, hydration, and balance, the flow can be restored. The system's resilience lies in its simplicity. It asks only for movement, breath, and care. It responds not to force, but to rhythm. It is a reminder that purification is a gentle process, a matter of flow rather than struggle. Beyond its biological role, the lymphatic system carries a deeper symbolism. It is the embodiment of release, the letting go of what no longer serves. Just as the kidneys filter waste from the blood, the lymphatic vessels clear stagnation from the tissues, maintaining purity and lightness. In this, teaches the wisdom of renewal, that health is not the absence of impurity, but the ability to cleanse and restore balance. It shows that healing is a process, not a state, and that harmony depends on movement, the soft, unending circulation of life's currents. As you rest, your lymph continues its journey. It rises gently from the feet, moving through the legs and into the trunk, gathering, cleansing, and returning. Within the nodes, quiet cells labor in devotion, protecting and renewing. With each breath, pressure shifts within your chest, drawing the lymph upward like a tide, responding to the moon. You may not feel it, but it is there, flowing, balancing, preserving. The lymphatic system is a testament to the body's grace. It asks for no attention, speaks in no voice, yet sustains the purity of every cell. It mirrors the natural world in miniature. Rivers flowing to the sea, rains returning to the clouds, cycles repeating endlessly. Within you, this same pattern unfolds, keeping the inner world clear and alive. In the deep quiet of sleep, as the heart slows and the mind drifts, the lymph continues its work. It carries away the remnants of the day, the molecular traces of effort and thought, leaving you lighter by morning. It is the body's nighttime caretaker, the unseen current that washes through your being. In this flow lies renewal, constant and whole. The lymphatic system is the river within you, the ever-moving promise that cleansing is eternal and that life, in all its quiet strength, is always beginning anew. 19. The skeletal muscles in motion, the dance of strength and grace. Beneath the skin, beneath even the intricate web of vessels and nerves, lies a living machinery of motion, an interwoven system of fibers that make movement possible and give form to strength itself. The skeletal muscles, tethered to bone by tendons, are the instruments through which thought becomes action. They are the body's dancers, its engines, its quiet partners in every gesture. Even as you breathe, as you blink, as you shift slightly in rest, these muscles work in harmony, maintaining posture and balance without conscious command. Their motion is the foundation of all human expression, from the smallest movement of a fingertip to the powerful stride of a runner. There are more than 600 skeletal muscles in the human body, each with a name, a purpose, and a rhythm of its own. Some are small and delicate, controlling the fine movements of the eyes or the lips. Others are broad and powerful, anchoring the body and driving it forward. Together, they create a symphony of tension and release, contraction and relaxation. a constant choreography directed by the nervous system. Every muscle fiber is capable of change, of adaptation. It strengthens with use, softens with disuse, heals when torn, and reshapes itself to meet the demands of life. Muscles are made up of countless microscopic fibers arranged in bundles, wrapped in layers of connective tissue. Each fiber contains thread-like structures called myofibrils, which in turn are composed of repeating units known as sarcomeres. Within these sarcomeres are two main proteins, actin and myosin, that slide past each other when the muscle contracts. This process, called the sliding filament mechanism, transforms chemical energy into movement. The signal to begin comes from a nerve impulse, a tiny spark of electricity that travels from the brain or spinal cord to the muscle through a motor neuron. When it reaches the end of the nerve, it releases a neurotransmitter that binds to the muscle fiber, causing calcium to flow inside. This initiates the contraction, and within milliseconds, the muscle shortens, producing motion. Each contraction is a conversation between electricity and chemistry, between intention and action. The process is remarkably efficient, yet it demands energy, which the muscle draws from molecules of adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. The body creates ATP through several pathways using stored energy from food, converting glucose, and drawing upon oxygen delivered by the blood. When the muscles work intensely, they may shift to anaerobic metabolism, producing lactic acid as a temporary source of power. This can bring fatigue, but the body recovers quickly, clearing the byproducts and restoring strength. It is a reminder that even within exertion, there is rhythm. The muscles of the body work in pairs and groups, each supporting the other. For every action, there is an opposing movement. For every contraction, a release. When one muscle shortens, its partner lengthens. This balance ensures smooth motion and protects the joints from strain. The flexors bend a limb, while the extensors straighten it. The abductors move it away from the body, and the adductors draw it closer. Rotators turn, stabilizers hold steady. It is a dance of cooperation, a living harmony in which no part acts alone. At the core of this system are the postural muscles, those that hold the body upright against gravity. Even as you sit quietly or lie still, these muscles maintain tone, preventing collapse. The deep muscles of the back and abdomen form the foundation of stability, aligning the spine and supporting the internal organs. Their work is subtle and constant, so ingrained that it escapes notice. Yet without them, every movement would lose its grace and precision. The simple act of standing is a triumph of balance, a continuous adjustment by muscles large and small, guided by signals from the nervous system and the sense of equilibrium within the inner ear. Some muscles are designed for endurance, built from slow twitch fibers that contract gently, but can sustain effort for long periods. These fibers draw heavily upon oxygen, using it efficiently to produce steady, reliable power. They are the muscles of calm persistence, the ones that keep you upright, that carry you through long walks, that support your breathing as you sleep. Others are composed of fast twitch fibers, which contract quickly and forcefully but tire more easily. These are the muscles of sudden motion, of sprinting, leaping, or lifting. Every person carries a unique blend of these fibers, shaped by genetics and by use. The body's balance between endurance and strength, speed and control, reflects its adaptability, the way it molds itself to the life it lives. The muscles are not only instruments of movement, they are also reservoirs of warmth and metabolism. When they contract, they can generate heat, maintaining the body's temperature even in cold environments. This is why you shiver when chilled, tiny involuntary contractions that create warmth from motion. The muscles also act as a storage site for glycogen, the body's ready fuel, and they contribute to the circulation of blood. As they contract, they squeeze the veins, helping return blood to the heart. Thus, every movement, even the smallest, supports the whole body's vitality. The connection between muscle and emotion is deep and ancient. The body expresses feeling through motion long before words can form. Tension gathers in the shoulders when we worry, softens in relaxation when peace returns. A smile, a sigh, a gesture of kindness, all are muscular expressions of inner states. The heart, itself a muscle, responds to emotion in kind, quickening in excitement, slowing in calm. The muscles do not only obey the mind, they also speak to it, sending feedback through the nervous system. This conversation between body and emotion forms the foundation of physical awareness, the sense that feeling and movement are one and the same. In stillness, the muscles remain alive with quiet activity. Even as you rest, tiny adjustments prevent pressure from building, maintain blood flow, and preserve posture. During sleep, the muscles of the eyes move in rapid patterns as you dream, tracing invisible visions within the darkness. The diaphragm continues its rhythmic motion, drawing breath, while the heart, the most tireless muscle of all, continues to beat. Every part of you participates in this gentle continuity, an unending cycle of contraction and release that mirrors the rhythm of life itself. The health of the muscular system depends upon balance, movement, and rest, effort, and recovery. When exercised, muscles grow stronger through repair. When stretched, they regain their suppleness. When rested, they rebuild. The body rewards care with resilience. Overuse, neglect, or immobility can lead to stiffness. Yet even then, the potential for renewal remains. A muscle long still can awaken again, remembering its strength through motion. This adaptability is one of life's quiet miracles, proof that restoration is always possible. The muscles also teach the principle of unity. No movement happens in isolation. Even the lifting of a finger engages muscles across the body, stabilizing and supporting. The body acts as a single organism, coordinated and complete. In movement, this unity becomes visible, a dance, a walk, a stretch, each a manifestation of harmony between structure, energy, and intent. The grace of motion is not in force but in flow, not in tension but in rhythm. As you lie still now, your muscles rest but do not sleep. The slow pulse of circulation nourishes them. The nerves maintain a soft tone. You may not feel it, but beneath the surface, countless fibers expand and contract in subtle synchrony, adjusting to your position, maintaining your balance. It is a quiet dance, a movement too delicate to perceive, yet essential to life. The muscular system is the embodiment of vitality, the union of strength and grace. Through it, the invisible becomes visible, intent becomes form, thought becomes gesture. It allows you to explore the world, to express your inner self, to create, and to rest. Even now, as you drift toward sleep, your muscles continue their work, faithful and calm, sustaining the rhythm of your body through the night. In their stillness lies strength, in their motion, harmony. Together, they carry you through the endless dance of living, one quiet contraction at a time. 20. The circulatory system, the endless flow of life. Within every living moment, a quiet river flows through you. It moves ceaselessly, carrying oxygen, nutrients, warmth, and vitality to every cell. It collects what is no longer needed, cleansing and renewing with each passing beat. This river is the circulatory system, the body's vast network of blood vessels, guided by the heart's steady rhythm. It is a living current of life, circulating through nearly 60,000 miles of pathways, connecting the smallest capillaries to the grand arteries that rise from the heart. Through its unending motion, it nourishes the body, sustains balance, and reminds us that life itself is a rhythm, pulsing, flowing, and returning in eternal harmony. At the center of this system is the heart, a muscular organ no larger than a closed fist, resting within the chest, slightly to the left of center. It is both powerful and gentle, contracting more than 100,000 times a day, without rest or pause. Each beat sends blood outward through the arteries, into the fine networks of capillaries, and back again through the veins. Though its sound is familiar, the heart's rhythm is more than mechanical. It is the pulse of existence itself, a soft reminder that life continues, quietly and faithfully. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, 2 atria above and 2 ventricles below. The right side of the heart receives blood returning from the body, blood that has given up its oxygen and gathered carbon dioxide. This blood enters the right atrium, flows into the right ventricle, and is then pumped to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. There, it meets the air you breathe. Tiny sacs within the lungs called alveoli allow the exchange of gases. Oxygen enters the blood while carbon dioxide leaves it. This oxygen-rich blood then returns to the left atrium, passes into the left ventricle, and is sent through the aorta, the body's main artery, to every organ and tissue. Thus, with each beat, the heart completes its cycle, a perfect loop of giving and return. The movement of blood is continuous and elegant. The arteries carry it away from the heart under high pressure, their elastic walls stretching and rebounding with each pulse. As they branch into smaller arterioles and capillaries, the flow slows, allowing exchange. Oxygen and nutrients diffuse into the surrounding cells, while waste products and carbon dioxide flow back into the bloodstream. The veins then gather this blood and return it to the heart, their one-way valves preventing backflow, ensuring that every drop completes its journey. It is a system of balance, forward and return, delivery and renewal, flow and rest. Blood itself is a living tissue, a river of countless cells, suspended in plasma. It is composed of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and a fluid medium that carries dissolved nutrients and hormones. Red blood cells, or erythrocytes, are the most numerous. They're shaped like small, flexible discs. Each contains hemoglobin, a protein that binds oxygen and releases it where it is needed most. These cells live for about 4 months before being replaced by new ones from the bone marrow. White blood cells, though far fewer, are the guardians of the bloodstream, part of the immune system's watchful defense. They patrol the vessels, seeking signs of infection or injury. Platelets, small fragments of cells, assist in healing by forming clots when a vessel is damaged. Together, these components create a living, self-renewing fluid, one that carries the body's essence through every part of itself. The plasma, which makes up more than half the blood's volume, is a pale golden liquid composed mainly of water. It carries electrolytes, hormones, nutrients from digestion, and waste products bound for excretion. It also helps regulate temperature and pH, maintaining the body's inner environment in perfect equilibrium. Through plasma, the endocrine system's chemical messengers reach their destinations. Through it, the immune system's antibodies travel to where they are needed. It is not merely a carrier, but the medium through which all systems communicate, a reminder that the body is one continuous whole. The heart's rhythm is controlled by a small group of specialized cells, known as the sinoatrial node, located in the right atrium. These cells generate electrical impulses that spread through the heart's walls, causing its chambers to contract in a coordinated pattern. The atria contract first, filling the ventricles, followed by the strong contraction of the ventricles that sends blood forward. Between these contractions, the heart rests briefly, refilling for the next beat. This constant cycle of work and rest is what sustains endurance. The heart never stops, but it knows the wisdom of rhythm effort, balanced by pause, motion, balanced by renewal. The blood vessels themselves are as vital as the heart that drives them. The arteries are strong and flexible, lined with smooth muscle that responds to signals from the nervous and endocrine systems. They can constrict to raise pressure or relax to lower it, adapting to the body's needs. The veins, softer and larger in diameter, carry blood gently back to the heart, aided by the contraction of surrounding muscles and the action of the valves within them. The capillaries, so narrow that red blood cells must pass through in single file, are where life's true exchange takes place. The meeting point between blood and cell, between inner and outer worlds. Circulation is not limited to oxygen and nutrients alone. It also carries emotion and experience. When you are calm, your heart slows, and the vessels widen, allowing a peaceful flow. When you are afraid or excited, the heart races, the vessels constrict, and blood rushes toward the muscles, preparing for movement. Every feeling leaves a signature in this system, a subtle echo in the body's pulse. The circulatory system listens and responds to the rhythm of the mind, proving again that the body and consciousness are never separate. They are two voices in the same song. Blood also serves as the body's messenger of warmth. It distributes heat evenly, carrying it from active muscles to the skin, where it can be released into the air. When the body cools, blood retreats inward, preserving its core temperature. In this way, the circulatory system maintains a gentle balance with the environment. It is the body's internal climate, adjusting constantly to the shifting conditions of the outer world. Within the stillness of rest, the heart continues its steady beat. The pulse slows, yet it remains unwavering. Even as you sleep, the blood moves with calm determination, delivering oxygen to the brain, carrying away the remnants of the day. The heart does not tire because its design is perfect for endurance. Each contraction is efficient, each rest precise. The blood itself moves in harmony with breath, the inhale drawing it toward the lungs, the exhale guiding it back toward the heart. This intimate partnership between breathing and circulation forms the essence of vitality. When you place your hand upon your chest, you can feel the heart's rhythm beneath your palm, a gentle, steady reminder that life is movement. The circulatory system is the embodiment of flow, an endless cycle that unites all parts of the body. It is the physical expression of connection, for every cell receives from it and contributes to it. Nothing in the body is isolated. All are nourished by this same current. The circulatory system also mirrors the patterns of nature. The heart is like the sun, sending energy outward. The blood vessels are the rivers that return it. The flow of blood is like the tides, constant and rhythmic. When you walk through nature, the same principles surround you. The flow of streams, the rise and fall of leaves in the wind, the quiet persistence of cycles. Within you, the same poetry unfolds, written in motion rather than sound. As you rest now, your heartbeat settles into its nocturnal rhythm. Blood moves more slowly, guided by the needs of sleep. The body repairs, restores, and balances itself. Every organ is nourished by this silent flow. You do not have to think or try. It continues without request, faithful as the stars in their paths. The circulatory system is the body's living river, ever moving, ever renewing, carrying the essence of life to every corner of your being. It teaches the wisdom of flow, the peace of rhythm, and the beauty of continuity. It is a reminder that life endures not through force, but through harmony, not through stillness, but through gentle, unending motion. As long as the heart beats, the current of existence continues, and within that current, the quiet miracle of life goes on flowing, restoring, and forever returning home.